Hi. Happy New Year.
All right.
Oh,
New Year.
this is Anthony's project.
Yeah, we got
somehow
Karen as well, Karen McConaughey, and Bill Hull, and as well Ching from our office. But really, I'll do the presentation, and with Karen's here as well to answer any landscape questions, and either the other one to jump in if I say something
Dave,
wrong. So.
Dave, you should be able to share now.
yeah, well, Anthony,
Okay, there you go.
presentation. We just
Great.
have to, yeah.
And Claire, it sounds like with all that's happened to you, if you just keep playing that card, you can stay at Tip's office and get all the nice coffee and the crumpets.
Yeah, really.
And just run it from there.
You're like a queen sitting here.
Okay, so the minutes from the previous or last meeting was drawings are in generally good shape. Use of non-reflective glass railing is acceptable. And let's see, was that
John, that one I wanted to just quick touch on. I think there might have been a typo there. I think it was, we were asking to use the regular glass, not the non-reflective, more expensive one. So it was the use of the standard glass railing was acceptable. I think
you are correct. You are correct. And then return with final details and specs. Specify non-reflective roofing. Ensure the lighting is dark sky compliant. So I have reviewed these drawings. There is a memo with no comments from the planner. And so, David, if you can get over to the drawings, please.
Here we are.
Claire has not had a chance to review these. I did. And as it turns out, the only thing I could not find is where the site lighting is actually shown. I see the fixtures, but I don't see the locations on the property. Do you know where those might be, please?
It might be, are they in the landscape stuff?
I looked everywhere. I couldn't
Yeah,
find
you're talking
it.
about the landscape lighting?
Yes, please.
They're on the planting plan.
Okay.
That's kind of where I was going. That's why I said that, John, because a lot of landscape people nowadays seem to be putting the lighting inside the landscape plan.
And can you run us, okay, so as a next sheet, if I remember, had the fixtures.
Yeah.
And there is, I was not, isn't there another sheet, or am I confusing it with another shot? Yes, the ones right here that are the downlights right there in the middle. Can you show us where those are, please?
The downlights. Sure. Let me remember where they are. If we could zoom in. They are in the entry courtyard. There's two shown on the olive in the entry courtyard.
And is that it?
Yeah, and those are the only two we have shown. They're right there on the olive.
Are you okay with that, Claire?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, it's, there's
I
no,
am too.
because it's inside the courtyard.
Yeah, I am too. So that was my only concern. That does not seem like an excessive quantity by any means. Would you, since Claire, you did not have a chance to review this, shall we just go through every single drawing from the beginning? And David, if you could just click through it, and then please.
Yeah, I mean, we can, if we have time. I mean,
Got 10 minutes.
I mean, coming into this meeting, I would, knowing that I wasn't gonna, for me, as I remember, this project was pretty straightforward, and it is ready for final, and we're going to get final right now. And I think Anthony's done a really good job. The landscape architect is, from what I can remember, it looks to me like it's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know. Wait a second. Go one step back in the drawings. I just saw something. Yeah. So where that tree is, that's all going. All that paving's going away, right?
There in the middle.
Yeah, that one. Anthony, is the paving going away or maybe if I see the landscape plan again, that was
Yeah,
one
can we
of-
go to the landscape plan and we'll show where that is and what is happening. Yeah, zoom in there and go a little bit up.
A little bit up. Okay. Oh, I missed it. I see.
Yeah, there we go. Here we go. So yeah, so that's going here, right? That's where the current is. So it's pulling back. Yeah, it's all around the tree is transforming and not being hardscape. Yeah,
that's fine. I just
the hardscape line it's still staying here, but yeah, we're opening all that up, and de-hardscaping it.
okay.
Okay, anything else, Claire?
No, nothing else that I can see right now.
Can we go back to the materials? I just want to, there were 10 projects plus this, and I just want to make sure. I did not make a note about up higher, the material, architectural materials towards the beginning of the set.
Towards the beginning. Okay.
I think it is down. Right.
It might
above,
be A3.
go ahead,
A3.0
Anthony.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe
there we go.
A3.0. Yeah, all of this here. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, and what happened with the roofing? I saw this E.84. What does that mean, please?
Okay, and I might have to. Can you zoom in a little bit more? And there's different reflectivity ratings. And Ching, maybe you want to jump in on this because you were doing some of that research for it. But there's basically reflectivity of, so it doesn't act like a mirror. It's how much does it bounce it off in your face. And then there's also, and so it's lower on that. And there's also reflectivity for like heating up and for energy, sake, for not being like a hot roof. So those were the numbers for. So, and I believe and Ching, you can jump in if you want and specify which one's which, but those were from the manufacturer where the two of them landed.
We don't care so much about the reflectivity for energy conservation at this board. So we care about how bright the building will be from afar. So which one of them is that, please? Ching?
Oh, Ching, you're muted, Ching. Sorry. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Yes, now we can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So all the different numbers are different ways of measuring reflectivity. And I spoke to the product rep, and they are, so the two criteria is energy and the look. So in the invisible spectrum, it's highly reflective so that it's efficient for cooling and heating. So it's good energy-wise. And in the visible spectrum, it's low gloss. So it's not gonna be glare.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. I don't think we need to beat this to death. So, Claire, do you have any other questions or comments, please?
No, thank you.
And
And actually, thank you for the information about the metal roof and the reflective. I mean, I really, because that's a thing for me. I like about metal roofs, so I appreciate that you did the work and now I know more about metal roofs.
And Claire, I'm ready to recommend approval to the full board for this as submitted. Do you concur with that?
I would agree with that, John.
Okay, so what our process is, we have to select a chairman for the coming year, and that'll take a couple of minutes, but it should be about 10 to 15 minutes from now if you want to wait for the official approval. Or to date, they have never gone against Claire's and my recommendation, but who knows? So thank you. Happy New Year, all.
Great. Thank you. All right.
And so we have 4 minutes until the full meeting gets started.
Oh, well, I'll drink my coffee in. Chip's so great. I can't even believe it.
Yeah, well.
Just keep rubbing it in, Claire.
No, but it's just delightful to be served like this, I mean, I got the guy is on the other day, Tip said, if you need anything, Claire, just call him. And I'm going, okay, you know. I'm so used to just taking care of me, you know. No, it's interesting having somebody take care of me. Thanks, this is a lovely office. It's really quiet in here.
We will see if she ever leaves.
What?
We'll see if she ever leaves. She's just going to bring down a suitcase and call it good. She can go out to dinner across the street.
Well, actually, I made a mistake this morning. I should have called, well, I should have set the time to come down earlier so I could have gone and had lunch with him, because I do know Tip eats lunch at noon every day over at across the street. He's got his own little table and everything. And when I showed up, he was just coming across the street. He said, "Oh, there you are, okay." And they said, "Did you have lunch?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I did take care of myself that way. I ate lunch before I came."
Did I hear you, Tip?
Well, Tip is in his office on a different line.
Right. I don't see him on my screen, but I think I hear him. Okay, it is 1 o'clock. Are we still being recorded, please? David?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, very good. And Kimberly, I saw you. Are you here, please?
I am indeed.
Okay, I do count 4. I don't see Tip, but we do have minimum quorum. So the first item on today's agenda is public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on anything that's not on our agenda, please? Okay.
John, I don't see anybody, John.
Very good. Thank you very much. The second item is election of the 2023 MBA chair and vice chair. David, you are clearly up for being chair. If you'd like, what do you think about that?
I would like to defer. I got enough on my plate right now.
And what about vice chair?
Do we have any other volunteers, or?
Bill is not here. I think he would do it. I am happy to continue to be chair if the board wants me to do that. If they want somebody else, I'm happy to have that happen as well. So Tip, are you here, please? Tip? Everybody seems to.
John, I'm happy to have you stay as chair, definitely.
Okay, so everybody that wants John, please stay seated. So,
Well, here's the thing.
Claire, what are you about, please?
Yeah, well, what I was thinking about earlier before the meeting is that my thought would be to defer it till when we go back into person. So we just leave everything as it is, because I would be more than happy to do either of those things once we go back into getting off of Zoom, because the technology is so distracting for me. So I mean, do either, chair or vice chair once we get out of this world of Zoom.
Okay,
So-
well, what I do know, Claire, about that is vice chair will the county has chosen not to hire someone to take care of navigating our drawings. I have no reason to believe that they will change that. Now, they might, but I have no reason at this moment to believe that they will.
Would be that in effect for?
Yes, we're going to go hybrid. When we go back, it'll be hybrid.
Oh, got it.
I think all of us will be required to go and sit in the room, but
Right.
there will be people like Anthony just now, who doesn't have an office here in Santa Barbara, that will want to come in off of the internet, which is great.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, it doesn't matter to me. I'm fine with you moving forward, and and Dave, if he wants to be vice chair, you guys just take care of it.
David,
Yeah.
could you do that, or should we try to recruit Bill?
I'm happy running the meetings. I just, it's just showing up for every single meeting might be challenging for me. So
Bill jumps in, as you know, quite frequently. He has
if
some
we have that
personal
arrangement, I'm
business.
perfectly happy. Yeah, that's
Okay. He has personal business today he needs to take care of.
right.
Okay, so this is an official item on the agenda. We need a motion, a second, and a vote. So would somebody like to move this?
John, I missed the discussion. I'm
Aha,
sorry.
where are you at in terms of being chairman or vice chairman, please?
Okay, so let me ask you first. Are we planning to keep the same team, you and Dave?
Okay,
No, I'm just asking.
that is what is currently on the table. I have said I'm happy to continue if the board wants me. If somebody else would
Okay.
like to do it, I'm happy to step aside.
And
Dave
Dave
says-
doesn't want to be the chair?
He would be.
Yeah.
And as long as Bill is a backup for taking care of the drawings, he's happy to stay as vice chair.
Okay, and then we'll probably go live, right, soon in February or March?
March.
As of now, it's March. I did come down with COVID over Christmas, so it is definitely still out there. But who knows? Probably
Okay.
we're going to go live.
Yeah,
Or we're
so
going to go hybrid
In March.
in March.
yeah, so I feel that it's if you and Dave are willing to serve another term, I think that would be great. That's my
Is that a
opinion.
motion, please?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to can it be one motion?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, can I make a motion to keep Mr. Watson as the chair of AMWA for 2023 and Mr. Mandro as the vice chair for 2023?
Is there a second, please?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, thank you all, and
Thank you.
thank you for everybody's last year. I forgot to say that we all did, I think, pretty darn well. Okay. Item number Roman numeral 3, reconsider the circumstances for COVID. I will make a motion to continue as a remote for as long as possible. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And Kimberly, can you write the verbiage so that it's all nice and legal, please?
I will.
Okay, all those in favor, please. Aye. All those opposed, please. Carried unanimously. Roman numeral 4, agenda status report. Is there anything that needs to be changed, David?
Nothing that needs to be changed. I just wanted to point something out.
Okay,
So if you looked at the member agenda, you may have noticed that number 8, which was the Lynn accessory dwelling structure project. Your board said it could come back on the consent calendar.
okay.
And with discussion with Ms. Foster while she was still here in the project planner, because it's been going on 3.5 years since it's been here, we decided to renotice it. And in my opinion, I made that call. It didn't make sense to put something on consent if we're renoticing it. But if you guys think it's still truly a consent item, I would just point that out in case you want to bring it up earlier on the agenda.
As I remember, it was a fairly simple, straightforward item. I think we should, it's been 3 years. We've had a building code change, which I know has nothing to do with zoning, but I think we should have it come back. Full board,
Okay, absolutely.
okay?
That's number 8.
8.
So 8's not gonna, we're not gonna hear 8 at all.
Are
We're
we
just-
hearing 8 today, please?
Yeah, the question was whether or not you wanted to move it up on the agenda. That's what I was saying. If you thought it was a true
No.
consent item.
No.
No,
Okay,
no.
that was
Okay.
it. No
Minutes.
additional changes.
Minutes of last month on the 15th. Any comments, please? Any corrections? Anybody? Okay, I did find some on item number 3.
Oh, we're on minutes. Okay, didn't bring the minute. Oh, there they are.
Comment number 3, limit tree lights, and then it says in proximity to property lines. I think that we just strike in proximity to property lines. This board has very consistently wanted to keep the lighting down and let them come back with whatever they want. Is that okay with everybody?
Well, say, what are you saying? You're saying that should limit the lights along
Tree
the
lights, period. Period.
So we're taking out proximity.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine.
okay.
Sorry, if I might jump in, John. I think that was our minutes, and Ching was just telling me something off camera here, and it might be helping clarify. Hold on 1 second.
This is Andrew Petroff.
Oh, yeah, it's your
All right.
project.
The non-reflective glass railing typo was also on this minute.
Okay, well, we'll pick this up. This is Coles Road. I don't think this is your project, is it?
No, not this one.
There's
We're,
a
Okay,
project.
let's be orderly here, please. Okay, so item number 3, comment number 4. What I'd like to say is architectural massing, not style, is appropriate, but details are lacking. And I'd like to add the word, and therefore elevations appear bland. How's that sound to everybody?
Say the whole thing,
Okay, architectural massing is appropriate, but details are lacking and therefore elevations appear bland. Is that
Well,
okay?
yeah,
Is there a more definitive word than bland?
yeah.
Well, I have a client that keeps using the word underachieving, but you know, I think bland is fine, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Unless you've got a specific word, Elida.
No, it's just not very definitive. Okay.
That's fine. And neither are the elevations. So, okay. Item number 4. Comment number 3. I do not know what this comment means. Study roof form for opportunities to better integrate. What the heck? Item number 4, comment number 3.
Oh, I see. We haven't shifted up, we haven't shifted up where we can see item 4 on the screen. That's why.
Okay. This is Danny Longtree. I think it's in Burnham Wood. Study roof forms for opportunity to better integrate. I don't know what that phrase means. Anybody? Tip, was that you?
No, I don't recall that.
Okay, shall we strike it?
Doesn't make much sense, yes.
Okay, let's strike it. And then the next one, try to reduce FAR to within 110% of allowance, not 10% of allowance. Okay,
Reduce
10% over the allowance. Yeah, either way.
but not 10%, or 10% over the allowance, either one. Okay, item number 8. Comment number 1 and 2. I believe it should say, 1, majority of board believes project is acceptable given site constraints.
Okay, that's good. I actually, this project,
I do not believe it's a modest proposal personally. Now, that's my personal opinion. Therefore, I wanted to strike that, but I think that we're very clear in my mind that we did say majority of board believes project is acceptable given site constraints.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely, it's not a modest design. I would strike that off.
Yeah. Okay, and then item number 9. This is Anthony's. Okay, so I was going to strike comment number 1. I just thought it was kind of silly, but they are correct that we have an incorrect call out on reflective or non-reflective. Use of non-reflective glass railing. Oh, no, we want to strike the word non in non-reflective. Use of reflective glass railing is acceptable. Okay?
yes, yeah.
They came back and they said 25% more or 50% more or something. And so
Yeah.
we said use of reflective glass railing is acceptable. Okay? And
Return with final detail. We just went through these plans, so.
okay, and the last thing on the last page, item number 11, the motion. Watson moves, seconded by Mathis. Well, Mathis is a consultant to the landowner, not a member of the board.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure who that is.
Who voted for that?
And carried by a vote, I believe it's 4-0. Tip had to, and then Kung recused. This is his project. He had to recuse.
That's correct.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's 4-0 or 5-0. I think it's 4-0, and I don't know who seconded it, please.
John, I also wasn't at this meeting, so it doesn't say that I wasn't there. I don't know if it's consistent.
Okay, yeah, so let's get that on there as well, because we no longer had Don, so we're down to 6. Tip is 5, Dave is 4, so it's going to be 4-0.
Yeah, I have John. I just looked at my notes. Claire made the second, and it's a 4-0.
Okay, very good. If you could get that corrected, I'd appreciate it. That is all I had. Does anybody else have anything, please? Okay, I will move for approval of the minutes as amended.
Second,
Okay,
And I'm abstaining.
all those in favor, please?
And I'm abstaining number 11.
Very good, thank you. Okay, thank you all. Members informational briefing. There was a rainstorm. Okay, anything else?
Well,
I have a question for Dave Villalobos. We talked last meeting about the triangle, the Hot Springs, Olive Mill, Casa Dorinda triangle, if that was going to be coming before the board at any time, and it was kind of left as an open question. And I wanted to know if there's been any more thoughts about that or decisions made.
well, they haven't applied for a permit for it. So it's not gonna come to us until the property owners apply for a permit.
Okay.
I mean, to answer your question about when it's come, it's not gonna come, it may never come to us because they're gonna go ahead and do the project. And they may not be applying for a permit to do it.
Okay, that answers it then, Claire. Thank you.
Elida, in the zoning ordinance, there are stipulations as to when a landscape plan must be filed with the county. If you go in and look through that ordinance, you will find it somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is. And then you can determine whether or not they're required to do it. If they are, they will come before us. If not, chances are they won't.
Okay.
Okay.
Especially because there are 3 owners of that triangle. And it's the 3 owners who are getting together to make it look nice, you know. That, you know, I mean, I know that from the background of what's going on there from the Montecito Association, you know, so it's a joint ownership of that triangle. And those 3 owners have gotten together and want to make it look nice, you know.
And let's keep moving, please. Staff update, please.
Oh, wait, John,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mike. So I have to step out after the meeting at 1:30 for 15 minutes. That's number 1.
Okay.
And number 2, and I think that we have quorums, anywhere
We
before that.
barely have quorum, yes.
Yeah, we have quorum. And then I have to get off again at 4:15 for 15 minutes. And let's see where we are at that point. I told you give you guys a heads up.
Okay. Would you please just butt in if necessary to say when you're going so that we can keep track of that, please?
Yeah, that's the 2 things for today's meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else, please? Staff update. Kimberly, David, please.
Nothing official. I just had, I had received an inquiry about someone who was interested in the vacancy on the board, and I referred him to the online application. And I spoke to Esme in the first district office, and she said that she had inferred that other members had maybe referred people as well. So that's something that they're looking at right now. That was it for me.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Okay, excellent. Okay, Montecito consent item. We had 1 item today. We did the minutes just now for this item. It's 867 Lilac Drive. It was on for final, I believe, not preliminary and final. And Claire and I are recommending approval as submitted. Claire, did you have any comments besides that?
No, actually, when we worked through it, you know, that kind of was funny. We were looking at the minutes and what we told them to do, and they did everything. And it looks,
Okay.
I think we just give it.
And I will move for approval as submitted. Claire, do you want to
Yeah.
second that?
Oh, I'll second that.
Is there any discussion, please?
My phone is going off at me here.
All those in favor, please? Aye. All those opposed, please. Okay, so passed. Item number, regular agenda, standard agenda, concept review. Item number 1, 789 Park Lane. Britt,
Okay.
are you here or is somebody else representing the project?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay. The floor is yours.
Okay, well, let me just introduce the project. This is an existing residence. It sustained some fire damage. There was some field repairs being done under the fire repair permit. It got a little bit aggressive or beyond what that was because they started replacing doors and windows. They engaged me to assist in developing updates to the elevations and better connections to the existing landscape amenities. To summarize basically what's going on, we have a 1.65 acre lot. The existing residence is 5,888 square feet. There's a detached garage of 1,071 and a couple small sheds that are around 282 square feet. The principal change that we're proposing is the addition of a cabana and a second floor bedroom. The second floor bedroom is about 562 square feet, and we're going to demo the sheds. So the net change to the property is the addition of around 280 square feet, which happens on the second floor.
So hang on a second,
addition.
David. Yeah, David, could you go in on that? Thank you. Now, Britt, you want to help explain this?
All right, so basically, like I said, we're adding a second floor bedroom over a cabana as part of the improvements. There are some sheds on the property that are about 282 square feet, and the addition that we're proposing is 562 square feet. So then the net added area to the lot is 280 square feet. The existing floor area ratio is 111%, and based on our calculations, adding the second floor, we're at 129.
Okay.
So the principal scope of work, though, is really to refine elevations and open the plan to the landscape. The existing house is a square, object in a field, kind of a house, and it didn't really have the kind of connections that we'd like to see to the outdoor amenities, including the backyard, which has really great existing walls and orchards and things like that. So let's go to the next page. So this is a neighborhood context. You can see the dark plan is the existing house. There's the garage and driveways there. You can see the proximity to the neighbors. It's a really heavily vegetated perimeter on the site. No real way to see what's happening inside, and views to the neighbors are established with the existing landscape screening. So we can go to the next page, which is the illustrative site plan. So on the right side, you see what we're proposing to do. We're looking at establishing a better entry experience on the east side. So we've got an oval driveway, and off of the front door, there's a little landscape amenity that you would see upon exiting. As you walk into the plan, we've opened the plan up so you can see through to the rear property line, that really kind of absorbing that amenity of the backyard. There's a south-facing terrace that's off of the formal rooms. We reworked that. It was not very sensitive to the formality of those rooms. We've added a raised terrace and then an at-grade patio to extend the views out of the main living room. Then as you look to the left of the plan, which is the west, there's a new pool deck with an arbor, a pool cabana that's centered on the pool. And then to the north, there's a existing study, and a mature oak tree with a lot of really great landscape rocks and some mature plantings there that we'd like to establish as a sort of a private patio off of the study to the front of the plan. So in essence, go ahead.
Okay, good, that's fine, yes.
Claire, put yourself on mute, please.
Okay, so let's go to the next page then.
That's fine.
Okay, so you can see the side-by-side comparisons of the floor plans. At the top, we have the first floor plan, and to the left there, you can see that there was really no openings to the rear yard that had the existing historic rock site walls and orchards and things like that. So we're going to put a pool there that kind of absorbs that view into that amenity. The south side, the deck, the terrace just didn't really fit with the character of the house. It was an ad that was not very sensitive a few years back. So we're going to redo that. And then as you look at the second floor, you can see that off of a second floor room, we've added a bridge to a bedroom that's above the cabana to add a little bit of square footage to the house and use as sort of a guest house. So we can go to the next page. So this is really what the project's about. As you can see, the front elevation, it's a really nice historic building. Looking back at the character of the building, we thought that there were some elements that we could add to it that would move the character forward. So we've extended a wall to the right side to enclose that new private courtyard off of the study. There's a gate there with some wood turnings and paneled grill. There's a a wall grill that fits in there with terracotta pavers. An addition of a gable above the forward-facing bedroom becomes a hinge then between the extension of the patio, and then to the right where we've got the new formal terrace with the guardrail made out of the terracotta pavers, and then the extension onto the at-grade landscape with a little fountain there. So the house is starting to extend out and really incorporate the landscape. The existing west elevation, as you can see, there was absolutely no windows that connected across the back half of the lot. So we took that staircase out, added an arbor. We have new steel doors and windows that open from the family room and nook out into that rear yard. And then on the north elevation, again, there is a wall that encloses a existing oak tree and the stone patio that's there. It's a historic piece that really now starts to increase the amenities that are a part of that forward study. So that's really what the project's about. Let's go. Let me see the last elevation down there. So yeah, this one shows the new pool cabana that's centered up on the pool. And if you go to the last page, a lot of these details are coming out of, let's go one more page.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So there was a tile surround around the front door that was really great. We engaged a ceramicist out of Ojai to reproduce those. So we're rebuilding the front entrance. We've got custom light fixtures that we're bringing in that pick up some of the direction we'd like to take the house based on the existing aesthetics, and keeping it simple with tile pavers as the main material that we're using to develop these additional aesthetic details, like the chimney cap and wall grills and other elements that relate to the flat work and terracing. So that's the general scope of work that we're proposing on this project.
Okay, Tip, are you still with us, please? Tip?
No, I think he's turned off. I can see him turned off on my screen.
Okay, so I know he was leaving about now. So Claire, questions, please.
I have no questions right now.
Mr. Mandro.
Yes. Have you done an FAR study of the neighborhood?
We don't have accurate floor area ratio study of the neighborhood recorded, but we looked at them. There are some that are 2 lots away that are in the neighborhood of what we're talking about with the size that we're proposing. Basically, like I said, that the issue is that if we take the sheds out and add that garage, we're only talking about a net 300 square foot change in what the intensity of development is.
He asked a simple question, which sounds like a no. Is that correct? You haven't done an FAR study?
I don't have them recorded. I looked at them. I feel comfortable that we're within the range of not the immediate neighbors, but the general neighborhood.
David, anything else, please?
Yeah, on this elevation, what is this element here?
That is the cabana beyond. It's very far back. It's in the back of the lot.
And is that there's no wind? That's just a solid 2-story wall?
Well, there's a stair that goes up to it, and then the wall breaks back. We did a flat roof because that's where we want to put the solar.
Okay. And let me get back here. Is there grading proposed? This elevation is showing the grade quite a bit lower, and then here it appears to be higher. What amount of grading are you proposing? Is that the case?
We haven't done the numbers on that yet. What we're proposing to do is bring the pool deck up so that we can access that terrace off of the main house level. There is a 1 foot change as you kind of go around the corner there, but yeah, there's as you look at the site plan, it shows that the pool deck is raised, and then there's a landscape a perimeter that's down 30 inches, so we don't have to have a guardrail. So the dark green there is a planter that's 30 inches down from the pool deck that transitions to existing grade. You can also see here the orchards and the artifacts of the site walls that are there that we've incorporated into our design.
Yeah, those are my questions. Thanks.
Lida, please.
Dave, can we stay on this drawing? Is this a new pool or an existing pool?
Everything to the west of the plan is new. So the cabana, the pool deck, there's an arbor, all of that is new development because it just dropped off and there was absolutely no windows or connection to that principal amenity of the site.
You had said that the site is populated by specimen trees. What specimen trees have to be pulled to accommodate the pool and the new terrace?
There are none in that area. The specimens are to the west of that wall, which is a fruit orchard and mature plantings along the property line.
Specifically, are you pulling any oaks?
No.
Okay, thank
Well,
you.
there's one that was small that's by the cabana. I think it's about a 6-inch, and we talked with Duke about that. We have a preliminary arborist report wherein he gave us some remediation for that. There's also a recumbent oak that you can see just to the left of the cabana up there. The trunk is actually on the neighborings. We've been in contact with the neighbor and have worked with them on some remediation to ensure the health of that tree.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would attending this Zoom conference that would like to address the board on item number 789 Park Lane, please?
We did have
Yeah, hello.
That's somebody
Yes.
else.
Please identify yourself and where you live in relationship to this. Hello,
Hello, can you hear us?
I can now.
Okay. Yeah, we are at 773 Park Lane.
And where is that in relationship to this project, please?
It's south.
Next door.
It's the second, we're the flag lot
Aha.
lane.
We can see that on our right now, yeah.
No, it's the one
Right.
above it, David. 773, right?
Yeah, to the right of where you're indicating.
Right there, right there.
That's the property. Yeah. So our concern is screening from the property and sound buffering. The existing olive trees that are right next to our like 10-foot hedge along the property line, I don't think they've been pruned or trimmed in years, and they were hanging over our hedge and dropping olives onto our driveway and staining it. And we had conversation with the contractor, and so the branches were trimmed back that were dropping the olives. Then the contractor had his people trim the trees, but unfortunately the trees are so tall that all the foliage is above their house, and we are just looking at these stalks. So there's no real screening from the house. We're looking through the stalks at the house. And so we're concerned about screening there, and also the sound when the workers were working on the property. We could hear their conversations, so that our security cameras were recording their conversations. So we're concerned that if they're putting a pool out there and there's a lot of activity, we're going to have a lot of noise from that. So we're, hoping that we get some kind of buffering from the visuals and the auditory.
We're also concerned about the second story of this guest house above the cabana that you're planning on putting in, because that will be looking right into two of our bedrooms. on the same level. So that's concerning us as well. And now you're talking about a flat roof with solar panels. Yeah, we will definitely need screening if you're going to do something like that.
Is that it, Emily? And I don't, PAG, Page, okay.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much for sharing. Okay, anybody else, please?
That was it, John.
Okay, very good. Comments? Tip, are you back with us or are you still gone? Okay, same order, Claire, comments?
Well, my comment, okay, is that I'm very concerned well, in fact, right now, I wouldn't be able to approve this because of the overage of the FAR. And that overage is being caused by the cabana and what's on top of it and the pool. Well, the pool, no, but all of that. And so right now, I would be unable to approve anything. And especially because now the neighbors are saying, well, wait a second, we've got this 2-story cabana, and so it's all the new stuff that he's added, and for me, it doesn't work. I mean, I 130%? No. I mean, I know we've bended in there, but there's no reason, to get it down to 110 would be okay, but the rules are 100. So this is 30% over what we normally hope for. So yeah, those are my comments. I mean, this whole addition that now the neighbors are saying is going to impose upon them. Well, this is the reason we've got FARs, So that's my comment.
Thank you, Claire. David, please.
Yeah, I think the upgrades to the architecture and the detailing is very nice. I see it as a great improvement. My concerns are what I already noted. First of all, is the FAR I would need in order to support this project. We'd need justification that the neighborhood is it's appropriate for the neighborhood. So an FAR study would be first and foremost in my mind. Secondly, I am concerned about the mass bulk and scale of that second story over the cabana, and I'm having a hard time reading the plans. If you had some other type of 3D rendering or something to help us better understand how that relates to the house and the bridge, that would be helpful. And my third concern is the amount of grading. It's hard to tell exactly what's going on, but it looks like there's a pretty significant amount of grading. So some site sections and grading calcs would be helpful as well. And those are my comments.
Thank you very much. Elida, please.
Well, given the neighbors chiming in, I think that the screening, the property line screening is probably essential. And maybe down the road, we see a landscape plan to what you're planning on using there to screen, to give them the privacy that they deserve. That's all.
Okay. I concur with Claire and David. And so in summary, please provide an FAR study. Please provide an existing site plan showing trees and grading and things of that nature so that we can assess what the existing is and what's being proposed. Please produce some documents that show how you go from the existing elevations, which have quite a vertical drop at certain locations, to basically flat. I do understand you're building a deck, please explain, or maybe filling it with dirt. Please explain how that's going to happen with site sections. Please show us where the pool equipment is going to be and how you are going to screen that auditorially and visibly from the neighbors, and provide a landscape plan showing all of the perimeter landscaping that you are proposing. We do not have a planner, so when you get that figured out, please come back. Emily and Paige, if you are still on, you will not get another notification from the county for this project. You can get on the list of people that received the agenda by contacting our secretary, David. And they can put you on the master list, and then it's your responsibility to keep looking at it when you get that. So there is no motion required. Thank you, Britt. I think that the project, the architectural qualities of the project are very nice, but I think there's some planning issues here, mass, bulk, and scale, and things that need to get addressed. Item number 2, 245 Bonnie Lane. Jeff, are you here, please? Or somebody else?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, very good. The floor is yours.
Okay, if you could go to the photograph package that we had submitted, that'd be a good place to start. So this is the house, and primarily what we're looking to do, the owner would like to upgrade the aesthetics, and we're going to be removing the mansard roof and doing a number of different elements to change the look, and put in all new aluminum clad wood windows, trellises. On the back side we have a little bit of wrought iron work. This indicates now we're below. This is the house. Item C, or photograph C, is the house to the north. It's a dead end street, as you can see. The Barbara Belli's house is on the corner of the lot, so we're showing that at the bottom. D photograph is up at the very end of the street. B photograph is looking directly across the street, and to the right on that same photo you can see the street beyond. It's about a 40,000 something square foot lot, a corner, so there's quite a bit of open land between them and the street. On the back side of the property, it goes hundreds and hundreds of feet. It's got an old, I think this last rain there might have been water flowing in it, but it hasn't been flowing for a number of years.
Chances are, yeah.
Yeah, so it's on the ground floor. What you see on photograph A there, it's a 3-car garage. We're looking to change that to a 2-car garage and expand into the garage on the first floor to give them a laundry room and a powder room. That will work better for the first floor plan. On the second floor, looking at the photograph number 5 and 6, we're on the left-hand side, second floor. We're looking to expand out a little bit so we can make a more usable, nicer master bath, and then there's another bedroom that will be Matt's office, home office, and we're adding a bathroom there. So that's about 162 square feet. So the house itself total is not including the garage is about 3,095. Overall, the addition is 162 square feet to the house to get there. That's the photographs. Then if you could go
Can
to,
we
I don't
look
know
at
if you
the
want to see
FAR, please, really quickly?
I heard that on the last. We could look at this, and what I do know from looking at that, the base there, you can see the recommended maximum house net floor area is 4,125. The house net floor area will be 2,930. So I think we're well within the FARs for this size of a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to see the floor plans? You want to go straight
I
to
don't know that we
elevations?
need to. I think that it's a modest project in the
Okay,
sake of time. If somebody needs them, we can pick it up later.
Yeah, I think it's page number 10 is the elevations. Well, they're in there somewhere. Oh, there you go. Sections, elevations.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, so you can see that it's quite a change from the existing elevations, and well, of course, we think it's going to be a very nice change for the neighborhood. We're adding the pitched roof. Haven't decided yet whether that's going to be a simulated wood shake, asphalt shingles. We might even look at some simulated slate. That's to be determined. We're going to look at some dollars relative to that. All the windows are aluminum clad. You can see we're adding a trellis in the front, giving a little better definition but keeping it understated, the entry on the left-hand side. On the two rooms below the trellis, which were just windows, we're adding that to be French doors with side lights. The garage reduces to 2 on the side. That'll be stained roll-up garage doors. The photograph below is the rear of the house. Second floor, we're revising these windows. We're adding it's a little balcony and the French doors off of the master bedroom. And it's quite a lovely view. You don't see any homes. You're looking out into the woods more or less, and with that creek that may not be dry now. The addition is to the left. That would be the bathrooms that I had mentioned on the second floor. On the lower floor, again, we're replacing the windows, and to the right, we're adding off of the living room the fold back doors that would open up to their existing patio. We may end up expanding the patio somewhat when we're all done. The two elevations below show you the north and south, and there's not much I can say about those. They're just a reflection of the window changes and so forth that we're making. And in short, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Jeff. Questions? Alida, please.
No questions.
Chip, are you with us, please? Okay, he's still out. Claire, please.
No questions.
David, please.
I just wanted to confirm that this is the area of the second floor that you're adding on to that's new.
That's correct, Dave.
Okay, thanks.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 245 Bonnie Lane, please?
I think we ran out of attendees, John, so I don't.
Okay, I'm still gonna ask though. Okay, so comments, please. And where should this go next from our board? He does not have a planner, but where do we think it should go next? Comments, Alida, please.
I think it's a huge improvement to this home. It's a nice design and a big improvement. They're lucky owners. That's it.
Okay, good. Claire, please.
I would agree. I think it's I mean, I actually know this house, and it's really an ugly house. And I think you've actually done a really good job turning it into a kind of a quite lovely house. So that's my comment. It looks good to me. And as far as coming forward, for me, unless anybody else has any problems with this, I think the next place is to return a preliminary.
Okay, David, please. Thank you.
I agree. I think it's a very nice upgrade of that existing home, both for the owner and for the neighborhood. I think the extent of the second floor addition is small and consistent with what's already there. So I don't think story poles are necessary. And I would be fine with it coming back on final on consent.
Preliminary and final.
Preliminary, final on consent, yes.
And are you done, David?
I am.
Okay, and I can completely concur with that. I think it's a very nice project. Good going, Jeff. preliminary final on consent, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see that the board has any value to add to this. But consent does not mean skimping on details, drawings, it's the full Monty, but it's at a smaller venue. So if you are not aware of it, we have been asking everyone to stay at an LRV of less than, or of 84 or less. So that's one place that I might want to caution you. And landscape lighting, keep it down to a minimum if you are proposing anything at all, please.
Well, if they're gonna come back on consent, there's a number that what we're proposing, that makes, I mean, at that point in time, I mean, then you and I are gonna be left to go through the landscape plan, the lighting plan, everything, because it's now, if we're shifting consent, then it will just only be you and I, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if it's terrible, which I think is like getting down next to zero possibility, we'll kick it up to the full board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Jeff, thank you so very much. Have a nice rest of the year. If we don't see you, Happy New Year. Item number 3.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 3, 216 East Mountain Drive, please. Is Christian here? Is there somebody else?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, very good.
Okay, yeah, my name's Christian. I'll introduce you to the project. Existing here, we've got a 1 acre lot with 1,887 square foot existing residence. And we are proposing a garage on the site as well. So if we could go to the photos first, just to. So this is the view of the lot from East Mountain Drive. Looks clean in this picture compared to today, but it's getting cleaned up.
Because I live about 20 feet from where you are. I mean,
Yeah.
so I live up there. I've just come down from up there. So go for it. I know exactly his house and whatever. I mean.
Yeah. So this spot fared pretty nice, but if you go to the next picture, we travel up Upper Hyde Road, and this is the driveway approach to the site. Okay. Next photo is the proposed location for the garage. And then there was a couple, that's the view from the house. And then there's a couple pictures to show the character of the existing house. So if we go back to the site plan, we've got some topography and setback constraints that we're working within, and that kind of just dictates the location of where we're setting the garage. It gives a good approach from the driveway as well as the residence. It also works with the existing utilities. We've worked extensively with Edison on the proximity to the power lines there and have received approval from them on that. If we go to the elevations, the intention is to maintain the look of the existing house. So roofing materials would be the same as on the existing residence, which is a warm gray corrugated metal. The plaster material would match the base of the existing house as well. Windows and doors, aluminum clad with the same character as the house. And we've also included a dormer with clear story windows that kind of show the same character as the existing house. Regarding landscaping around there, based on the photos, the existing landscape is fairly natural, and we intend to keep it that way. it's something that we're gonna explore a little further. But right now, there's some acacia, bougainvillea, and succulents, and we kind of gonna maintain that around the perimeter there.
John, I'm back, so you know.
Very good. Thank you, Tip.
Regarding the floor plan, it's pretty straightforward, garage. So, and that's pretty much what I have.
Okay, Tip, did you get to see the presentation, please?
Yes, but is it a question now?
Questions, please.
Can you ask one else first? Thank you. Other board
Yes,
members?
David, please.
Yeah. This is the property line here, and this is the setback.
Correct.
Okay, and where is the neighbor? Is this to the east located, and can they see this garage, this new garage?
Well, I can tell exactly where that person is. Yeah.
So if you look on the full site plan, you'll see the edge of Upper Hyde there. So there is
okay.
just to the right of that, there is a residence, and just to the north, you can see the corner of one residence there too.
Right here.
So from the upper one, it's a little bit more visible, but being built into the hillside, it's pretty low profile. And then from the site across, you won't, if you go back to that photo showing the approach from the driveway, it's pretty limited what you can see from there.
No, not that one.
David, if you're really interested, you could do
That one
Google
there.
Earth or something of that nature.
Oh, yeah, let's try that.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I can put in is because I've lived on that road and so many times, you know, it is that this house comes off of Hyde Road and then drops down to where the garage is. And for me, I know we're in questions. I have no questions, but I actually can answer some questions about where things are and stuff like that for the board if you need me to be. But for me, you know, this isn't going to impact any neighbors at all. You know.
Okay.
Okay.
Dave, are you okay?
Yeah, I'll see if I can get the 3D
Okay.
map going. But
And
I'm good.
Claire, are you within 300 feet of this property?
No, I'm not, because I no longer live on East Mountain Drive.
Okay.
I live on East Mountain Drive.
Okay.
But
So questions, please.
on Upper Hyde Road, multiple times and have rented homes on that same road. So I've lived there for 60 years. So I'm very familiar with everything that we're talking about. That's all I'm doing is providing, you know, yeah, no, I have no problem with it. I mean, yeah, because I don't, but I'm very clear about what's going on with the neighborhood right now. And right now, that access road is covered in massive boulders and dirt. I mean, we're all on Mountain Drive still trying to dig out from this nightmare, you know, we've just gone through, you know.
Elida,
No questions.
Tip, back to you.
No questions, John. Thank you.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody attending this Zoom conference that would like to address the board on item number 3, 216 East Mountain Drive, please? Anybody?
I don't see any hands, John.
Very good.
Perfect, Dave. That's exactly there.
Yeah, that's an excellent shot there, David. So it's right there. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm going to close public comment. So now we are back to comments, please. And again, where should we go with this project on the next meeting? David, you're up.
Yeah, I think given this very challenging site constraints, I couldn't imagine another solution other than this. I think the grading's justified to tuck it into the hillside. It doesn't appear to be visible to the neighbors. and works with the existing driveway cut and everything that's there. So, and I think the architecture relates to the house, so I can support the project.
Claire, please, comments?
Okay, yeah, yes, I actually agree with Dave. I think this is the only place you're going to be able to put a garage, and that's a good. And by the way, this house, the house itself actually has burned in the T fire and has been rebuilt. So, you know, and then the time after the T fire, the property was sold. And there's very little, I mean, there's just no, for me, I have no problem. I think this absolutely fits into the neighborhood, and I think we should move it to, well, yeah, let's do preliminary final on consent, you know? I mean, it's really straightforward. It's a garage, you know? And that's the only place you could put that garage on that property. So let's just move it on.
Elida, please.
I echo every word that Claire just said. This can be moved along. It's a garage.
Tip, please.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add to it. I agree.
And I agree with that as well. I do want to make a comment that, number one, there's no FAR study or no FAR document on these plans. Please provide that. I noticed that on your project information and on the written description on our agenda, the square footages are fairly far apart, 2236 versus 1887. Please clarify what that is, just so that the documentation is correct. And for the benefit of the board, when you do an FAR, including it being above Mountain Drive, it's 0.64. So return preliminary final on consent. Good job. Happy New Year, and we'll see you at the consent calendar.
Thank you.
Item number 4, 810 Buena Vista Drive. Danny, are you here, please?
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, so this is a mostly an existing house. It's a fairly large house by current FAR standards, and the majority of what we're presenting to you today conceptually is related to kind of infilling this existing breezeway and converting a gym back to a garage bay. And so it's kind of it's a square footage question. So if you, I'll take you through it, but it actually, the way it's calculated slightly reduces the FAR because we're taking away a gym and putting a garage. So we get a kind of a credit for that. But on the floor plan, on the first floor, you'll see where we propose to infill a breezeway to an entry vestibule so that the garage connects to the house at ground level. So go to the survey. So this fairly developed property. Go to next. So this diagram shows the infill. It's a steep hill carved in on the north side, so it's not visible. There's no change to the roof line or the massing. Interior renovation, a few windows changing locations, demolition of the swimming pool, and expansion of a covered patio, and a demo of an existing chimney and a new chimney. There is a cabana that's it's actually been approved to be converted to an ADU. No change in size there, just pointing that out because we are giving up that opportunity to do an ADU down the road because that's being taken up with this conversion. So we'll go to the site photos. Top left, just kind of the entry court. It's very, very private, protected property. You can see in the second image there, that's the breezeway that plan to partially infill there, and it's mostly towards the back side of that. And you can see how it's kind of built into the hillside. So if you go, I think you zoom out a little, there's a couple images, okay, down in the kind of middle right bottom. You can see the breezeway from the back. There's some, notation pointing to that area that we're proposing to fill in. So go to the floor plans.
Danny, it's simple enough. I think you can keep moving on.
Okay.
We don't need to beat this thing, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. So existing proposed elevations, I think those kind of tell the story. You can see the expansion of the covered patio on the right, lower right, the infill kind of in that middle breezeway. It's a little bit to the left. Yeah. Top and bottom. Yeah, there. So that's the gist of it. We do have, we're working on a new pool location and a landscape plan that will come back. But I think just given the size of this house and the fact that we're asking for, a new, I guess, addition, we just wanted to get that approval before we got too far along. So
163, that's what I was looking for. Oh, God.
Yes. It's really, there's no expansion beyond the existing footprint. It's just kind of infilling this breezeway to make it more usable. New owners, and the garage is just kind of puts you into this awkward dark space coming in from the garage. So that entry vestibule just makes it a lot more functional. And
can you show us where the ADU is on this, please?
it's right there. It's 821.
Very good, thank you. I looked at these today earlier, and as most people know, I'm fairly familiar with how these calculations work, and I was confused by you. So
yeah, it's interesting. Actually, drop because the calculator allows for an 800 square feet of garage, and so when we took away some living space and put it in garage, we shrunk, even though the footprint stayed the same. Kind of a numbers game.
Okay, no, it's always a numbers game with the FAA.
Yeah, but we just wanted to, show that we're really not expanding the mass bulk scale or footprint of this residence. And if you look at the FARs, we're actually shrinking slightly.
And are you done, please?
Yeah, that would be it.
Tip, questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Elida, please.
I'm not quite understanding what's going to go in place of the pool, the existing pool that you're going to.
Oh yeah, so if you go back to the site plan drawing, zoom in a little bit on that. There's currently a patio that goes right up to the edge of the pool. It's not quite big enough for furniture, so they're going to expand that covered patio to function as a place where you could dine or sit, and the pool is going to be removed.
The spa as well?
Yes.
Existing covered outdoor patio to be removed. Proposed new. Okay, so no.
So I'm still, what's going to be in place of the pool? I'm still not understanding.
Yeah, we can look at the elevations there. So right now there's a small covered patio right up against a small pool, and we're going to propose a larger covered patio and no pool.
Decomposed granite.
Yeah.
The pool is going away, Elida. And
yeah, no, I understand the pool is going away. I was trying to see what it was going to look like in place of the pool.
So may I suggest a question for you, Elida? Would you be able to provide greater landscape clarity on your next round?
Yeah, absolutely.
How's about that for a question, Elida?
Perfect.
Okay. So I think that's what she's trying to get at. Okay.
Yes, we will, the next time we see you, we will have a detailed landscape plan.
Thank you, thank you.
That it, David, please.
I don't have any questions. Thanks.
Claire.
So the 811 square foot house, that's already existing.
That's correct.
Yeah, that was my question. Is that most of the house is existing and you're just adding these two little pieces to the house? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to know. I just kind of was trying to get wrapped around this 163% FAR going, oh my God, but
Vecchia was built prior to 1992.
yeah, that's that's why I was asking it, because it's before we did all of that work. So thank you. Okay.
Okay, so public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 4, 810 Buena Vista Drive, please?
Not seeing any hands, John.
Thank you very much, David. Okay, so now comments. Tip, comments?
Oh, yeah, well, to me, obviously the FAR is over the chart, but it's more like an infill project. The house not that attractive in the first place, and by adding the square footage, it doesn't make it any more attractive. But at the same time, it doesn't make it less attractive. So I think I can support it. Thank you.
Lighter, please.
Whoops, no comment.
David, please.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge that this does well exceed the FAR, but as Tip mentioned, it's an infill project. It's not impacting the neighborhood or the community any more than what's there now. And I can see how this would make it much more usable for the homeowners. So in this specific case, under these specific conditions where the house and what they're doing isn't really visible, I can support it.
Claire, please.
Yeah, that's something, except that I would like to see this back on preliminary full board before I'm willing to actually say that I would approve it, Because I don't have enough information right now moving forward. I don't know because I haven't seen, so that's my thing. I just would like to see I would like to see it back on for preliminary full board,
Okay. Danny. I am spoiled by your other applications where your drawings are quite lovely. I'm not as convinced about these elevations. They are acceptable technically, but in terms of a beautiful presentation, I think they are lacking, and I might encourage you to consider putting shadows or something else on them to help soften them up and give us the full three-dimensional look of this project, which I think there is some, but I even wonder whether or not these drawings were produced in your office. I know sometimes people represent other people's drawings, so I also think it can come back for a preliminary final on the next round. I think a landscape plan is definitely needed to clarify some of the information, particularly that Lida was discussing, but if you're doing other things, and I have nothing further to say. Has anybody else got anything? Okay, we have no motion and we have no planner. So we will see you when you come back at preliminary. Yes, ma'am.
Can I clarify? We had one suggestion of return for preliminary full board, and we had one suggestion to return for preliminary final full board. Do we have a consensus?
Members of the board, speak up, please.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
With preliminary final.
Yep.
On
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, the worst that happens is they don't get the final.
We're gonna move. What the board is saying is that whoever is recommending that they want this to come back to us on consent?
No, full board, preliminary and final.
Oh, okay, yeah, I heard that preliminary final on consent, and I'm going, what?
No, one meeting, hopefully, okay? Try to keep it moving. There's no need to, this is not a big project. Danny, thank you. Have a happy new year.
Thank you, you too.
Item number 5, 1086 Channel Drive. Carl, are you here or somebody else, please?
Yes. Hi, it's William Hefner. Carl Cross and I are the architects for the project.
Okay.
And so we're here to present this remodeling addition project located on Channel Drive.
Why don't you get to the photos? Everybody will know from those.
Yes, okay.
Right there
This
in the
is
upper
like,
left-hand corner.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Okay. Anyway, it's a really cool and visible house on Channel Drive. We're working for some people who purchased the house recently, and we're proposing an addition to the project as well as some site work. Our addition, except for minor bits around sort of laundry room and some other chunks, is consisting basically filling in the underneath. The underside is just sort of raw, kind of rusting steel and dirt. And so, our thought is to not expand the footprint, but to build out underneath to provide extra family bedrooms and living areas. And this gives you a sort of a view of it from different angles. And but anyway, we're excited about it. And the idea is to sort of restore, remodel, and bring the house up to sort of current standards. It enjoys a beautiful view. And even this lower area will have a great view. And it will be not really change the visibility of the house, the rest of it, nor kind of the privacy around it. As part of the project, we are asking for over 100% for the FAR. Like 141%, and we'll show you when Carl presents. He'll show you, but all the adjacent neighbors are significantly higher in terms of FAR, and we aren't increasing our footprint from what it is. So I think that's some of our logic.
William, you did a nice study, page number 5. You want to just deal with that right now, please? Okay. So basically, so we have the downhill neighbor on the right is at 190%, and Carl, you have to help these. He's just so small for me. Oh, there we go. 197%. I'm sorry, I got it. And then the house behind us is at 199%. And this large parcel across the street, across Channel Drive from us, is covered up by zooming in. Yeah, but anyways, is also
similar. Yeah, 199, I think, if you pan to the right a little bit. Maybe the left, if we call it that way. Anyway, but they're all these parcels are all around us. They're significantly higher. And again, we're not expanding our footprint. So that's our logic. But I'll let Carl go through some details for you so you guys can see the plans and that.
Great. This is really great.
Yeah, and I think at one time, those 3 parcels were one, and then they split those and have view easements. And our project was built in 1960, so that was kind of the only loan project on there. And the neighboring properties, although very big and up towards 200% FAR, really kind of took the privacy and the views from the house and kind of responded to that. So we're not really affecting anything that's going on as existing. So this is the existing survey that kind of gives you a little bit of context. You can see to the right or to the east of the house that there's those yellow dashed lines there that are part of a view easement that will be maintained. And what we're trying to, okay, so here's the first floor level or the site plan, orientated a little differently. So you come into a motor court, the garage will be reconfigured and attached to the building, pushed back. There will be a small addition in the front entryway that it consists of a stairwells, and then a small addition on the front of the kitchen there for services. And then expanding the patio area out of the living space, including the new pool. So if you go to the main level plan, it is all kind of a pelote system with columns with non-load bearing walls on the interior. So we are going to reconfigure those interior walls and make the spaces a little bit more conducive to the owner's lifestyle, and expanding kind of the great room and the indoor-outdoor aspect of that project as well. Kitchen will remain in the same area. A pool bath will be added. Some storage will be added. And then in the back to the left of the property will be maintained the master or primary suite. And the new stairs going downstairs will be to the new kind of bedrooms and lounges downstairs. So this is going to be new space. So this is, you can see the columns there that basically are exposed to soil. And we are going to pick a point and the finished floor and get down there through those stairs. And this will all be new space. So if we go to the top of the south elevation, you can see there really hasn't been any change to the house itself. The lower level will be added onto and filled in. You can see the pool in the foreground there as kind of a block that is a couple steps down from the finished floor to kind of sink that down a little bit for privacy, but still maintaining those views. And then you see the east elevation on the bottom there showing kind of the reconfigured main level. Again, we're not really doing that much to that, probably replacing windows and material on exterior. And then you could see the new proposed spaces below.
Got it?
And the one thing about that, those spaces in the bottom there is that the slope, property slopes down quite a bit. So when you're down there, you're behind the hedges and the fences, so that privacy can be maintained. On the top is the north elevation, and basically that's not really going to be changing. We're going to add some glass to the bathroom and create a little exterior private patio for the primary suite. Below is the entry, and that same kind of similar vibe, the period vibe that we're kind of being maintained. We like the entry to the motor court. The garage is orientated a little differently, but we'll maintain the front entry with kind of the floating stairs going to there, and then a secondary kind of service entry to the right where the pool is.
Oh.
These are some site sections. If you go to the top, that is the, let's see, east-west section through there. So on the left is Fairway Road. You come into the property and the motor court. You go up a couple steps to the main level. You can see the stairs going down to the lower level, which will be filled in. And then you'll see how the site kind of drops off to the neighbor's property there. This is the northwest section with the neighbor behind us, and the way that they are kind of bunkered down in there to get their height. And then we will basically not do anything to the back there. Again, filling it in, you see the cross section through the main level down to the pool, and then the existing wall at Channel Drive and the distance between there and the public spaces, and then down to the beach.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
William, Carl? Okay, very good. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, that's all.
Questions? David, please. David,
Yeah,
are you?
my question would be, by adding this new living space under the house, are you impacting this neighbor from a privacy aspect?
Oh, good question. So if we go to the photos, I think we could show you. But I guess in general, their house is designed, it's hard, pretty hard. It's hard to their property line. Their
Next sheet,
outdoor
please.
living spaces. Sorry,
There we go.
their outdoor living spaces, the bottom right photo is what we see of their house. Their house, when it was built, was like tight on the property line that we share with them. And their outdoor living spaces, for the most part, are on the opposite side. And our upper floor already looks down on them. You can see they have really modest windows on the side, and we don't feel they're affecting their privacy because we're already peering down from them in some areas from above. So
Yeah, this is actually taken on the main level of the upper part looking down. So the new filled in rooms will be lower.
Okay, that was my question. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, can I see the initial rendering again, please, on the first page? Can you, based on the rendering here, can you, what is the maximum height of the new added pool on the southeast corner of the house?
What are you trying to get at?
I think
Right,
Yeah, the height
the
of,
height at the corner.
right, of the lower story.
I would say between 8 and 10 feet.
It seemed like it go all the way from the deck of the second floor down to the ground of the first floor.
Not quite, because we stepped down, what, 2 feet from the house to the pool? Carl?
Yes. Yeah, it's like
so it's 2 feet lower than the floor above.
Do you have that,
top of the pool.
can I see that on the side plan? That corner?
Mhm.
So it stick out to the setback line.
yes.
Correct.
So the pool elevation is the same as the deck is stepping down. I can see a couple of steps right from the main level.
Yes.
And then the most projected element is the one on the southeast corner.
Great. That's the highest above grade at that corner.
And yeah, you have like an exact, what is the existing grade at that point? Because I know that it drops quite a bit from the house down to Channel Drive.
Mm.
Let's get them to come back next time with
Yeah, we can answer that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
more
So anyway,
detailed-
that's my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire, please.
I have no questions.
Elida, please.
Dave, can we go back to the rendering again?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, here's a site section tip that helps you with your
Yeah,
question.
I would say with the east elevation, if you looked at the east, or I'm sorry, the south elevation shows that.
We should get a called out and plan. next time.
Right.
Okay, we can do that.
And you
Yeah,
want
so
to
it
go
should
to
be
the
on the
site plan?
bottom left.
Lida, you wanted to go to the site plan?
No, the rendering.
Page
The
one.
rendering, yes,
Oh,
the rendering.
Okay.
So I see that this corner that's glass to get some natural light in, and towards the back, there's another, seems to be a window. How do we get natural light into this ground level? I mean, is that kind of it, that the
No, I think that
it looks kind of, appears that it
Yeah,
would
it
be
looks
very
pretty-
dark in there, except for that one
Looks
corner.
solid there. But
yeah, I think I'm showing some on the base level there. Besides the with people sitting there, is a couple screens for privacy and sun mitigation.
yeah, those are some slidable screens, but it's basically all glass on that side. You're seeing
Oh.
some shades. You can see on the plan here.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Is that it?
Yep.
Do you know who the original architect was, please?
I do not know, but I can.
Okay, the reason I ask is that as I poke around the internet for this and that, this house does show up in a number of places showing significant architectural detailing and panache and all of that good stuff. And I'm wondering whether or not this building has historical significance. We normally think of old rock buildings or classical George Washington Smith, but if this was built in 60 and it's now 2023, that's 63 years or so. And it's more than 50 years, which is where the historical marker is. Have you considered getting a historical report for this, please?
We haven't to date, but we could reach out about that.
Okay.
Reginald Carey was the original architect.
Okay, not Reginald Johnson.
No.
Okay.
No.
I think he was no longer with us at that point.
No, and we do have, I mean, as-built, the original as-built of the project, and there seems to be the same condition it is in.
I think it's a remarkable building. I think that it's classic for the period. I think that it is stunning. And therefore, I think that it may warrant architectural preservation status. So, okay, that's just a question. Public comment.
Just a question.
Well,
Mhm.
I could do it at the first meeting or at the last meeting. How's that? Okay, so public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 5, 1086 Channel Drive, please?
No hands for this one, John.
Thank you very much. Comments, David, please.
Yeah, to start with, I greatly appreciate that you're preserving the house and making it livable for your clients so that it'll continue to be there for years to come. I think it's a very nice renovation of the place. I think, as John was alluding, I think you're required to get a historical report for a project over 50 years. So
At least an evaluation, yeah.
yeah, an evaluation. So I would do that right away just in case there's issues. But overall, I love it. I would suggest doing some perimeter landscaping more in the location where we discussed during my questions to provide both you and your neighbor a little more privacy, but that's up to you. But I'm a little concerned more living space and more light at night and things might impact them. So hopefully it's mutually beneficial. But overall, I think it's a wonderful project.
Great, thank you.
Yes, I mean, I think the renovation and the addition, I definitely think it's very sensitive. But I also do know that I have some concern about the pool and the pool location because I know the site, I know the house, and I almost want to have stake out that corner and see how how far it's encroaching into Channel Drive, because that corner is fairly steep, as I recall. I think that house. So that's one thing that I'm sure about how far coming out and how high that would be, that corner. So that's one issue, and then John mentioned about the historical context of the existing house, and my recollection is that actually I years ago I looked at this house, and I remember, maybe my recollection is not correct or not, but you can verify this, that the previous owner did mention something like Richard Norton did work on the house when she tried to show off to me the house years ago. And I'm not sure how true is that, how was that, is it a true statement or not? And I don't have any information to back it up. But she did mention that when she walked me through the house, maybe 15 years ago.
Richard who?
Neutra.
Oh.
Because it's a Richard Neutra vernacular, it's a same time era, and I don't know. So and anything over 50 years old, you had to do a historical report anyway. So I think that might be. I hope it's not, but she did try to sell me that idea years ago. So that's how I learned about the project. So those are my two comments, and I'd like to be able to have them, look at before the next hearing.
Okay.
And also, I think this house will have to go through in front of the Montecito Planning Commission for approval. It's in the coastal zone.
Yes.
So we'll you probably will come back one more time, addressing some comments, and if everything positive with the historical report, and then you can the county can I'll complete the staff report and get you guys to the Montecito Planning Commission for hearing.
Thank you, Tip. Claire,
great. Thank you.
Please. Claire?
I'm absolutely, thank you for your office that's doing the work on this house. This happens to be one of my favorite houses along Channel Drive. Every time I walk there, I look at that house and I just go, oh my God, I love this house. So, no, I really do. It's one of my favorite houses along Channel Drive. Just his positioning, and the fact that it's been there for all these years, and I think whatever you're doing to keep it the way it is, and then be able to rebuild underneath for your clients' needs is fine with me. Absolutely, I think just. For me, yeah, it's great.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Elida, please.
Well, it's certainly a one of a kind, not just on Channel Drive, but in all of probably Montecito and Santa Barbara. And it seems to me you've been very thoughtful in how to expand the living space down below. It's a lovely house. I'm sure it'll be a wonderful project.
Just as a statement of historical fact, there was a house on Ashley that was similar in design that was taken out in the mud flow, but again, simple, elegant, etc. But okay, so I would like to address the FAR for those that are interested in this. The houses to the east and north were built just prior to when the FAR came in, and our reasons, they were cited during our meetings as why we needed an FAR. As a historical fact, the properties across the street, I guess, are owned by Thai, and I did not know that they were that large, but it is what it is. And as everybody knows, I am very concerned about the FAR usually, and I think that this project does get in there. I think it's very nicely designed, tucked in, elegant, tasteful, and respectful. And that is hard to find in projects of this nature. So I am glad that you guys are the ones working on it. I agree with David that landscaping on the east property line is warranted. There's a pool in that photograph where you were looking down on the left-hand side, and that's there's a little trellis in there and a pool, and you will definitely be invading their privacy. Yeah, lower right-hand corner. That's a pool there on the left-hand side. And so that will affect them. I agree that the vast majority of the view is to the south, but I think some form of hedging there would be appropriate. I think that you do need a site plan with elevation so that we can more carefully evaluate the height, particularly of that pool. And how do we want to deal? I thought the Tip's idea of staking that corner where the pool is was a good one. Do we want a formal site visit for that? How do we want to deal with that, members of the board? I personally think it's a good idea. My question is the mechanics of evaluating that. Anybody, please? Or do we need a formal site visit? Members of the board, please.
So John, you're proposing that if we were going to do a site visit, that what we're looking at is just that corner and the height of that building. Is that what we're, is what we're trying to figure out, is how high that building is?
Yeah, and how, many of us walk along that roadway. I'm not sure what the name of that is. If it's still Channel Drive at that point, and how intrusive that pool will be in our view.
Oh, got it. I got it. Okay. Okay.
As you're walking up the hill to do the loop up there.
Yeah.
So how do we want to do it? I mean, a formal site visit, or can we just, how do we want to do it? Please.
This is something simple enough that if the applicant can notify the county, and we can go take a look at on our own, because we don't need to see the house. We don't need to go inside. It's mainly, it's a visual impression from the street, more or less, and I think that might be easier for everyone.
Okay, anybody else, please?
I agree.
Okay. David, are you there?
Yes, I agree.
No, not you, David, other David. I got a DV.
I'm here.
Okay, Sharon would oftentimes highlight something when she sends out the agenda and things like that, and the link that we click on to get to these meetings. If you could put in red at that meeting that the stake is up and that we could drive by before the meeting, I think that would be helpful. Number one, can you do that?
Yeah, sure.
And would that work for everybody, please?
That's a good idea.
Okay, so yeah, just highlight it when these guys come back. Okay, so anything else? I think that because of the potential historical and things like that, it should come back. Certainly no. Okay, so Kathleen, are you here, please? Kathleen Mulkey? Okay, so Kimberly or David, so what is the process to get to the MPC? Do they need our preliminary approval or what?
David, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you provide comments to the MPC before you take action to grant preliminary.
Okay. Tip, does that sound right to you? You do work down on Channel Drive?
Yeah, so the way I understood is that because I think the next step for the applicant is to get the historical report done, because the house is 60 years old. And then from that, either had to go to the South County, whatever that board is, the historical committee or not, because if it does, then it wouldn't come back to us until that board, until we get the comment from the board before it can go back to MOR. So I think we still like 1 or 2 steps away, and that's probably the first thing that we need to do is a historical report. And from that, it can lead them to the next direction.
Okay, so at the next meeting, let's get that stake in the southeast corner of the pool. And we'll hopefully have a historical assessment at that point we can review, and we can figure out where to go once we see that.
Yeah, so we'll come back for further conceptual.
Further conceptual. Okay, everybody?
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much. Nice job.
Thank you.
We'll see what happens. Happy New Year, everybody.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
item number 635 Orchard. We have seen this project before, at least once. MBAR expressed concerns regarding the size, bulk, and scale of the residence, reduce the height of the structure, consider lowering plate heights, restudy the roof line, restudy north elevation, consider pushing second story back from the property line, consider ways to soften the design. Several members expressed concern that the design is not compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. One member expressed concern regarding the distance from the vehicular gate to the roadway. We also do have some letters, and I don't know if we have public comment from others, but it is Martha, are you here or somebody else to represent this project?
John, I'm going to dive in, John.
Okay, Steve, you're up.
Steve Fort with Suzanne. Can I go? Steve.
Yeah,
Fort?
Steve, what drawings would you like to start with?
Can you pull up the rendering PDF and just get it on the first page for now? Thanks. Was that you, Dave? Mendro was running the
Yes.
PDF. Okay, thanks, Dave.
Mhm.
Steve Fort with Suzanne Ellis, Planning and Permitting. I'm here today with Martha Picciotti, our architect, Chris Gillen, landscape architect, and our property owners, Chris and Ed Amos. We are returning for conceptual review. We appreciated, we considered, and we incorporated your comments from our last visit. We also gave strong consideration to one of the as-built examples of this style that you guys pointed out to us. I think you're going to find that we've addressed all your comments, and I'm going to roll through your comments here in just a second and let you know how we address those. But we're confident we indeed have a better project based on your comments, not to flatter you, but we appreciated the comments, and we were hoping that you can conceptually approve us today. And again, I'm going to summarize how we've addressed your comments. So MBAR expressed concerns regarding the size, bulk, and scale of the residence. So the second story, and we can go through actually, Dave, there's also a PDF called Revisions Summary Sheet or something to that effect. There it is. Thank you. So MBAR expressed concerns regarding the size, bulk, and scale of the residence. So the second story interior was reconfigured as recommended by MBAR. The second story wall along the north property line has been pulled in 4 feet 8 inches to reduce second story massing. A second story wall at the northwest corner has been pulled back 4 feet 3 inches. And we also, and we can get to the second story floor plan after this. The second story deck on the west side was pulled back 2 feet. And we also had a wall at the southeast corner of the second story that we pulled back 3 feet 10 inches, all to reduce that second story massing. And then there's a wraparound balcony at the southwest corner that we also pulled back and reduced. And Dave, if you want to go back to the renderings, and I don't know if you want to kind of scroll through them while I'm talking or whatever you want to do. You mentioned reducing the height of the structure, and we did lower the plate heights. And you said consider lowering the plate heights. We did lower them. The overall height has been lowered by 1 foot 10 inches. Both plate heights have been lowered. They're now at 9 feet. They were previously 10.1 and 9'7". You asked that we restudy the roof line. So in conjunction with reducing the second story massing, the roof line was revised to include that overhang, similar to the as-built example that was suggested by MBAR. And that provides more of a cap, and we think it's more consistent with the proposed architectural style. You asked us to restudy the north elevation, consider pushing the second story back further from the property line. And I just discussed how we did indeed move that second story back 4 feet 8 inches from the property line. And we pulled a wall back on the northwest corner a little over 4 feet. Consider ways to soften the design. Reduce the second story massing. We added these roof overhangs. We added wood siding to the second story front elevation. Reduced the size of the balconies and added an additional tree in the front yard that you can see in that first rendering. Window treatments and screens will address privacy and glare as necessary. And notably, we're proposing a wood grill treatment on the window at the south facing elevation. And then the third, fourth, and fifth pages of these renderings are some renderings, simulated renderings of what the views will be from this house across the street and out the back, and then to the south out the back. And I'm getting to your comment here. Several members expressed concern that the design is not compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. And the neighborhood has a variety of styles, and it's going to continue to evolve as houses get renovated in the neighborhood. Their desire is to have a clean, light-filled, modern, indoor-outdoor field that incorporates natural materials like the wood and stone they're proposing. We don't feel it's out of the ordinary to propose this kind of style and that kind of what I want to say, design philosophy in 2023. And you can see from our support letters that several of the neighbors agree. Again, in terms of compatibility, there are currently 6 two-story homes on Orchard, and there's 4 two-story homes on Tabor.
Steve,
Yeah.
you have an exhibit about that. Can we go and look at that exhibit while you're going to talk about that, please?
An exhibit of what did you say?
The neighborhood with the single story in blue and the second story in yellow. You have that drawing?
I believe it's in the FAR and height PDF.
Maybe.
Is there a separate PDF for that?
Yeah, FAR and height PDF.
Right there, right there.
If you scroll down.
Yes, and now please go through that where you were going.
So there are, where was I? 6 two-story homes on Orchard. We're the green one. We're the green lot. 6 two-story homes on Orchard and 4 on Tabor. The building height of the two-story homes on Orchard and Tabor ranges from 22.5 to 30 feet. We're proposing at the front of the house, our proposal is 24 feet, 11 inches from existing grade. And at the back, it's 25 feet, 11 inches from existing grade. So we're within the range of those existing two-story homes. And also, I just want to remind you guys, as we pointed out the last time we're here, flood control, there are now advisory flood elevations that affect this neighborhood, and flood control is requiring that our finished floor be 2 feet above the average flood elevation that affects this property, which puts our finished floor at 282.5. As far as those two-story homes on Orchard and Tabor, the FAR of those ranges from 67 to 115%. The home on the 67% is actually on a double size lot. So if you take out that outlier, the average FAR of the two-story homes on Orchard and Tabor is 102%. We're proposing 108%, again, within the range of the other existing two-story homes. And I know you had those renderings were up, but I just wanted to note those renderings. And we don't believe that they're intrusive or really any different from what neighbors or future neighbors could propose with regard to a two-story home. And I just want to remind you, we do have support letters from 7 neighbors along Orchard. The Amoses did reach out, and we did obtain those letters, including a letter from the neighbor directly to the north. Your last comment, one member expressed concern, and maybe if you go to the landscape plan, Dave.
Now let's finish this up here, please.
We're trying, yeah, we don't need any of that stuff right now. At least I don't.
Let's keep going, David. Good job.
Okay. Well, I was going to say one member expressed concern about the distance from the vehicular gate to the roadway. And the fire department has given us the preliminary stamp approval on the site plan, including the wall and gate. It's 10 feet from the edge of pavement. It's consistent with what goes on in the neighborhood, and it's also necessary and desired for privacy and security. So again, the plans reflect the revisions I described: the redesigned second floor, lower roof and plate heights, pulling in walls and balconies. We added a tree to the front. And we can scroll through the plans in a moment. Christine Amos would like to read a brief statement. You know, they really have their heart and soul in this project. They've reached out to their neighbors. We've listened to your comments, and Christine would like to make a quick statement, and then
Steve, we would love to hear from this person. Can you just go through these plans?
Okay.
So we see them all, and then the owners, of course, would have an opportunity to address them.
You know,
so
that's
David, if you could just go through.
Sure. Those are existing photos, survey, first floor. I'm sorry. That's the second floor there, the revised second floor. I misspoke on that first one. You can see we narrowed it down and brought the second floor walls in, and the decks. That's the front elevation. We've added some wood there. That's the south elevation. We pulled in the decks on the left side there. Put some wood screening over a window there. That's the rear elevation. You can see the upper floor has been brought in. Those are some inspiration photos. And then landscape plans last.
Okay.
I do want to point out, I think I screwed up. The tree furthest to the right, I asked the landscape architect to correct this, and I didn't get the plan to our planner, but that tree furthest to the right should be on the other side, the left side of the wall of the gate. And that's the plans. If you want to, if Christine could read her thing, and we'll go.
Yes, please do that.
John, I just have a question about the plan we're seeing. This is the adjusted plan. So this is correct. This is the plan that we're looking at. This is after you made corrections to the house.
Yes.
This is now the way the house sits on the lot and everything.
Yes.
Okay.
We'd love to hear from the owner now, Steve.
Chris.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Christine Amos. My husband Ed and I have owned our home at 635 Orchard Avenue for 11 years. Orchard Avenue is a unique street in Montecito. It's a neighborhood in transition with smaller lots and older houses. It's a street with young families, professionals, business owners, and retirees. Some of the houses are rental properties, including one which a neighbor has used as a VRBO. Our home is an uninsulated tract-style house built in 1956, which has outlived its lifespan. It has no discernible architectural style or quality of construction. Ed and I would like to build a house to retire and age in place in that our family can also enjoy. Our project follows the same precedent of all home construction on Orchard over the past 30 years. That is, two-story homes that comply with all zoning regulations and height restrictions. We are not asking for anything more. As you can see from the renderings, our new home celebrates the essence of Santa Barbara by incorporating local stone, wood, and smooth plaster with simple and clean mid-century lines. Our landscape architect, Chris Gilliland, has designed a wonderful drought-resistant landscape plan, retaining the mature hedges and trees and providing sufficient permeable surfaces and drainage. After complying with the recent FEMA flood control requirements, which added an extra 2 to 4 feet of elevation, our project remains below the height of the closest two-story home, located diagonally behind us at 626 Tabor Lane. With constraints of lot size in close proximity to neighbors, there will inevitably be some view of an adjacent two-story home. After thoughtfully considering our neighbors' concerns and input from the MBAR, we have made many design changes with consideration to privacy. These include clear-story windows on the north and south side and the added window grating on the south side stair hall. The existing mature hedges and trees also serve to shield the house and respect privacy. I am surprised by comments from our neighbors on Tabor Lane. They presently enjoy living in their two-story homes that look at our property, yet object to us building one on ours. We have received support for our design from many of our neighbors, some of whom have lived on Orchard Avenue for decades. Two of these neighbors with whom we have shared our design are architects. With such strong endorsement of our design, we sincerely believe that our project can coexist with and complement the eclectic architectural styles found on Orchard Avenue. Thank you for your patience, insights, and guidance during this process. We believe that your input has resulted in a significantly improved concept for our new home. We are gratified that our neighbors who have taken the time to review these changes have rallied to support our project and look forward to your approval. Thank you.
Christine, you are married to Ed or Edwin. Does he wish to address the board, please?
No.
Okay, very good. So, Steve, are you therefore done?
We are done.
Okay, so I'm not sure if we have anybody to address the order of the presentation. We've just gone through the applicant. There will be questions from the board.
Yep.
And then if you have something that you'd like to say to us, that's your turn. And then we will comment about this. So members of the board, questions, Claire, please. Claire?
I'm just, no, I don't think I have any questions. I think the presentation clarified everything for me pretty much.
Yep.
Yes, I have some question. Number one, what is the distance between the gate and the street?
10 feet from the edge of pavement.
Basically, just a question. Does it have to be deep enough to get the car off the road?
Well,
there is no zoning requirement for that, we have discovered, Tip. And it's the fire department, whether or not they would require it. And while I can't speak for them, I suspect they're going to say, we're parking on the street, guys.
Yeah.
We're not going in this gate. So they're not going to ask for it.
That's
Yeah,
what we heard.
I guess my question had to do with people coming into the property, and so they had to wait on the street before the gate
There's
was
no
open.
zoning requirement for
No
it,
zoning.
one way or the other.
And what the distance between the gate to the house, is it 30 feet?
Pardon me?
The gate to the garage, I mean.
It's at least 30 feet, yeah.
And the setback, the front setback, is at 50 feet from center line of street?
It's 50 feet center line or 20 feet edge of pavement, but 50 feet drives this, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Is that it, Tip?
Another what? How many feet? I don't have the dimension.
What are you asking for, please, again?
The second floor setback from the garage.
You want to go to the second floor?
It was on there at one time.
It looks like it's another 20 feet, 15 feet.
10 to 15.
I can check it. Let's see.
Okay.
Hold on. Give me a minute. I'll check it.
Yeah, all right. And then let's talk about the side yard setback. The side yard setback from the ground for the ground floor is that what is it, Steve, from for the ground floor?
5.
And then the second floor, you step it back in, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And what is it? Is it like is it 4 feet more, 4 more feet in? So is it 9?
Yeah, you can go back to the second floor plan. I think it shows it on there more.
On the north, it's an additional 4 feet, 8 inches.
Am I going here? Hold on. Oh, here, this is. Hold on. Okay. The second floor.
It's the 8.
Hold on.
Looks like 4 feet 8 there.
It is on the north.
Where is the?
Would it be on the summary?
It looks like it's almost maybe about 4 feet on the south side.
Okay. So the house is set, okay, so the house is set 30 feet back from the property line, and to the second floor from the property line It is 40 feet. Yeah, so it's another, second floor is another 20 feet back.
So it is 70 feet, 70
10
feet
feet back.
From
Oh,
the front land, but that's not, what is the setback? The second story is, what is the setback of the second story to the property line? I think that kind of.
I think that's 40, but I'm gonna double check because one more time, hold on. Let me see, January, let's see here. Okay, 110, let me see, our last submittal was, here we go. Just a sec. Yes, that would be right. The second floor steps back another 10 feet from the face of the garage.
And the garage is 50 feet from center line of street.
Right, and 30 feet from the property
line. So
Yes.
it's 4 feet line.
Yes.
And that was significantly more than the first presentation
Yes,
back in 2022.
yes. I have to go back and look at that one.
Okay, that's fine. I just
Okay.
want to have some clarification. And then let me see. Just a question about the second floor plan. Can you go to the second floor, please? Second floor, yeah. So my question is just a question. Is there a reason why the deck go all the way from one end to the other end of the property? The second floor deck in the back.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
The second floor deck. Which
Yeah. Why does it go all the way?
all the way from.
Why does it go from one end of the house to the next?
Or if you go, can we look at the rear elevation? I think aesthetically it looks better that way.
Were you talking about the north property line or the west property line?
Of the west property line. That's what I'm looking at. And when you provided the balcony all the way from I would say the south to the north, is it looking into the neighbors' properties?
No.
We don't believe so. We have a simulated rendering of that we showed there.
The hedge is that high.
That's the front. That's the back.
You can see how tall the hedges are.
That's the back looking south. We use a drone to the best of our ability to take a picture and render this in there.
Okay, all right, those were my questions, John.
Thank you very much. Claire, please. Questions?
No, I think I already asked questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, David.
I don't have any questions, John.
Elida.
I don't have any questions either.
And have I missed somebody?
No, I think you're okay, John.
Okay, very good. And okay, I have a question.
Drive again.
Can we go to that rendering of that you showed us from the street right there on the top? Yeah. Have you considered taking the overhang on the upper story and reducing it so that there's a greater pyramid form in concept than what you have now? So that you reduce the mass of the upper floor by reducing the overhang. The question is, have you considered that?
Not to date, but we hear you, and we could take that into consideration.
Okay.
Just reducing the overhang of the roof cap.
Just on the upper floor to help pull it back. Okay, so that is it. Public comment. David, is there, or DV? I'm not sure how to distinguish between you guys. Is there anybody that wants, I know we have 6 letters. Is there anybody that would like to address the board that's attending our meeting today, please?
No hands today.
Okay. If everybody wants, we can read through the letters. I did this morning, and all of these letters are supportive of this project. And I read nothing that said, that they were not supportive of this project. Is that good enough for everybody? It's part of the record?
Absolutely
Yes.
enough for me, because I don't want you to read, I don't want you to take the time and read. You know, you know.
Okay, so the way we interpret that is, we've heard enough from you today, John. Let's keep this thing moving. Okay, comments. Claire, you're up. Supportive, not supportive, changes, what are you up to here?
Well, I actually do like the changes. I like the idea that they kind of set back the second story, you know, and that there's more air and more trees and more sky of the whole thing. And for me, I kind of, you know, I'm kind of finding myself with this presentation, okay, yeah, okay with the project. I really, you know, I mean, thank you for the work that you've done, you know, especially from this, what we see right now. You know, I think it actually won't be so overwhelming to the neighborhood, because now it's set back further, and the second story is, you know, scrunched in a little, it's made, you know, smaller, and I'm kind of okay with it, you know.
Okay, Tip, are you done, please?
Yes, I am.
Very good, thank you. Tip, please.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, thank you, the applicant, for really listen to the neighbors and to the board and come up with a much more, I think, sensitive solution to the tight site and in the difficult neighborhood. And so I think all the improvement are in the right direction, and I just have a couple of minor things, and maybe we can look into that. And so start with, I believe that maybe something could be done to the big glass window or doors, sliding doors on the second floor.
Which elevation, please?
Right there, we were looking at.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry, Tip.
The
Here.
rendering.
South?
No, that's the
west, I'm sorry.
That's the west. No, that's the east.
At the rear of the property, it's west.
I think this is the west, yeah.
East is the front, if that's what.
How about the east elevation?
So the front.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those, yeah, the two large sliding door on the second floor that looks straight down to the street. I think that there might be some solution to provide number one, privacy to the homeowner, and number two, so you don't have a lot of light washing down on to Orchard at nighttime. So that's a comment number one. And comment number two is that I believe that maybe look at the rear balcony, deck number two, and find ways to bring it in a little bit on the north and south elevation, so they not completely go to the edge. And I see that you're doing that on the south, maybe the north, bring it in a little bit. That would be helpful. And also talking about the glass rail on at the front elevation, you might want to look at another solution beside glass rail in the front balcony and on the back. Glass rail is, you know, I mean, I like the solution, but I just feel that they are very difficult to keep clean. That's problem number one. And a lot of times it reflect a lot of lights, and it might make the house a little harsher than it seems because of too much glass in the front. So I want to take a look at the material for the railing, and I think that there's many beautiful options beside glass rail. And normally we use glass rail by the ocean because you don't want to impede the view. But in this case, this is a small residential lot, so that's something that you want to take a look at. And then, you know, I'm a little concerned about the big gate in front. I think maybe that could be smaller. That seemed really wide. I'm not sure why it had to be that wide compared to the garage. The garage is 20 feet wide. The gate seemed like it's, I don't know, maybe 30 feet wide. Unless there's a reason for it. Visually it looks wide. And that could be a little more in scale, maybe more wall. That could be, and how high the walls in front, is that like 4 feet, 5 feet tall?
42 inches.
Yeah, and perhaps a little more landscaping, even narrow down the driveway down to the manageable width. And I always like to be able to provide the design that when you pull into the driveway, you don't block the road. But since this is a secondary street, that probably doesn't have much traffic anyway, so that probably is. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. David, please.
Yes, this project hasn't had story pools?
It did a long time
okay.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I missed that. So I'm to some degree depending on the other members for their comments, but in general, I thought it was interesting to see the photos they provided of other two-story houses on the street. And I think that this design to me looks favorable relative to those, especially how it's set back from the front and the sides now. And so I'm generally, I can support the project given that it has those setbacks and that it has been reduced in height. And also the fact that they're having to raise their site for flood control and they're still staying at a similar overall height to some of the other two-story projects in the neighborhood. And those are my comments.
Elida, please.
Well, first, whomever does your renderings is worth their weight in gold. That's a beautiful rendering. If this house ends up looking like the rendering, it's a combination of kind of mid 20th century and into the 21st century. The use of materials, the contrast between the stone and the wood. I've been here a year now. This is one of my favorite. It's just lovely. Just lovely.
Thanks.
Anything else, Elida?
No.
David, can we go to the plans, the last page? I'm glad to see Chris here. I did not realize you were here before.
And then, Mr. Chair, when we're done with that, I have a question.
Okay. Chris, can you go over the tree lights, please? I know that you have two styles of sort of a truncated one and a longer one. I know there's some lights on the upper, on the west side and that patio, and I am unclear whether or not there's some lights on the east side. Can you please show us where and how many?
Sure, Mr. Chair, no problem. Thank you for the question. So these, the downlights in the trees are in the existing avocados. One avocado here and one there. And so
there's three each, right?
I believe if we could zoom in, I don't have my glasses.
Thank you for coming to the meeting prepared.
So these are path lights, I believe.
No. Those are two different symbols for the two different types of lights.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, so it is 3 per tree then.
And then on the east side, please.
East side.
Just one up there, or is that two?
I think those might be path lights. I have to check the, can we look at the legend real quick?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe those are path lights.
So those two are path lights. So there was a total of 6, 3 in each tree, 4 of these and 2 of those.
Okay, very good. So my comment, thank you, Chris. My comment is, I think that this project has come a long way. I also believe that it is a much better project than it was when it was first presented to us 6 months ago, 8 months ago, whatever it was. And I think that I would like you to at least consider reducing the overhang up above. I think that it might help the mass, bulk, and scale. Now, that's on the one side. On the other side, you get a nice amount of shadow cast on the walls, which might offset that. But the value of reducing the mass. That's number one. Number two, I assume you're going to have to put some kind of solar on this project. And I would like you to study that to make sure that we don't see panels that are at an angle and hope that they're going to be level up there and therefore not visible from everywhere else. I thought that Tip's comments about the railing were quite good. Not everybody knows everyone's business, but we as a board are familiar with his work, and he does do projects that are similar to this in terms of rectilinear, strong, masculine, et cetera, with large amounts of glass, and he is aware of the lantern effect and things of that nature. And I thought that he was providing excellent guidance to you in terms of ways of reducing the visual impact to your neighbors. It's a tricky game about how you get some kind of a solid wall there without it making the building feel more massive. So I think it will require some 3D studies, but I thought he did well. That you should consider his comments seriously. We are on for concept review today. I believe we should come back for preliminary, but not preliminary final next time. And I think that there are Chris, surprise, surprise, I think that there are too many tree lights. I mean, at one of these days, you're actually going to bring in an extremely modest amount. I'm waiting, okay? So it has not happened yet. So I think we should come back for a preliminary with a full set of everything, and then we can pop it into the consent calendar for one or two last pickups. How do people feel about that? Does that sound right?
I just would like more information about the project before we move forward, move on. That's all. That's why I came up trying to wait for everybody, because I want to find out something about the drawings around. Like, my question is, what are the railings made out of? Is there a drawing of the railings?
And I would not expect it at concept. By moving it to preliminary, yes, Steve, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we'll bring that back for you. And we'll also study it for Tip's comment.
That's kind of right. I mean, we keep talking about the building and then we talk about the railings, but there's no drawing of the railing. So
that's right. We're still working on it. We're getting there.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so back for concept, is that okay with everybody? Back for preliminary, is that good for everybody?
Yep,
Definitely.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you.
Item number 7, 900 Knollwood Drive. Elizabeth, are you with us today?
Mr. Chair, it's Brian Banks here. Elizabeth had a fire board appeal hearing she sits on, I think, at the city, so I'm filling in for her today.
Okay, excellent. So
I will make the introductions. Brian Banks here. We also have Dan and Mary from Pamela Burton Landscape. The project before you, you'll see a very simple project. It includes a renovation of the existing lawn and then a utility bunker associated with, there's an interior remodel happening in progress at the main residence. So this would be, your typical mechanical HVAC and I know you love these, John, backup generator. So very straightforward project. We do have Pam and Tim from Post Hazel team engaged, and they have reviewed based on the significance of the premises. They have been engaged and have conceptually blessed the concept. And we also have Duke McPherson on board as the project arborist, and he's also blessed the concept plans. And then, of course, if things go well today and the plans take the next step, then they'll finish their reports, and those will be submitted with the land use permit application. So that's it in terms of an introduction. We'll turn it over to Dan and Mary, and they'll present the plans for you.
Great. Thanks, Brian. So hi, everybody. Happy to be here. So we're here to present the project on 900 Knollwood. It's kind of located at the end of halfway up Knollwood Drive. The owner the property actually consists of 4 parcels. We're focused on the center parcel here, parcel C. That's the parcel with the main residence on it. Next slide.
And what is the area of that center parcel, please?
It is 4 acres.
Okay, thank you.
So this is kind of the overall site plan with kind of all 4 parcels together. As you can see, we're focused on parcel C right here. The existing house was built in 1928. It's Edwards and Plunkett house, and it's currently undergoing a interior renovation or remodel. And our project is really focusing on items number 10 and 11. The other things are existing on site. There's an existing pool, an existing sports court. Number 2 shows an existing garage ADU. Kind of highlights of the property is there's a long driveway coming off of Knollwood, represented by number 6. And as you go up the hill and around to the back, you kind of reach this historic motor court. And right next to it, there's actually this forecourt. And in our review with Post Hazelton, these 2 elements are actually the historic parts to the landscape of the project. So as part of our work, we'll be doing a planting refresh to just really modernize those plantings, bring in some plants that are more appropriate for the Southern California climate. And then the main project here is the lawn renovation, number 10, and the utility bunker, which is number 11. Next slide. So this kind of shows the existing house and existing aerial. Here you can see the lawn as it currently stands. We've indicated around 11,000 square foot lawn that's currently there. Number 3 shows there's a terrace that overlooks this lawn that opens up from the house. Obviously, views to the south to the Pacific Ocean, kind of throughout the lawn. The existing lawn has like a 10 to 15% grade that goes away from the house. And the owner has expressed a desire to make this lawn a lot more usable for family activities and such. So we're proposing to raise that lawn, reduce that grade from 10 to 15, bring it down to more of like a 3 to 5% grade. If you scroll over to the photos on the right, it kind of gives you an idea of that existing condition out there. Next slide. So our proposed lawn renovation project here really just shows us we're creating a lawn that's really contained within a series of garden walls. The garden walls are going to help us to minimize the amount of grading required, but we also feel that it gives an aesthetic that helps this lawn to really integrate with the historic geometries already present on the property. So working with those axial views, creating really circulation that really makes this lawn that's kind of currently a little more cut off from the house, actually really integrate better with the house so that it becomes much more usable for the owner. Additionally, beyond the lawn, we're looking at adding in we're expanding that terrace, creating a set of stairs to really give a formal approach down to this lawn. A fire pit area, outdoor lounge, some vegetable gardens, and then just really improving that overall connections to the other existing elements like the pool, the garage, the historic courts behind the house. And then in addition to that lawn, we'll be kind of working with the perimeter landscape that surrounds the lawn to bring in more low water use plants. The lawn we're proposing is around 10%, or it's going to be at least 10% smaller. So this really is a water reduction project. We're trying to take that existing lawn, make it smaller, bring in new irrigation systems so that we're reducing the overall water use on the project. Next slide. So this The section view here kind of illustrates conceptually what we're thinking of how we're going to be dealing with the cut and fill that's going to be required to make this happen. The project will generate a little bit of both cut and fill, and we're going to be working with an engineer to get those numbers really dialed in and do our best to limit the amount of grading that's going to be required to make this project. Next slide. And then as we work our way around to the utility area, that's represented by number 1 in this photo. It's adjacent to an existing garage. Working with the existing topography, this utility area is going to be set below the house, below the garage, in more or less a bunker, surrounded by 8 to 10 foot walls that again are also going to be surrounded with layers of landscape, trees, shrubs, working that work with a plant palette that we're currently in progress working with. You'll also note there's some existing trees there. Those are oaks. So that's, as Brian referred to, we're working with Duke McPherson to assess the location, make sure that we're within all the parameters that are required to preserve those trees in place. We're not proposing to remove any trees. That we can work with the existing information or the existing conditions. Next slide. And then this last slide kind of further illustrates kind of the concept here that you see the existing retaining wall. There's a grade at the base of that that we're trying to meet with this utility bunker. It sets it below the existing residence, the existing garage, surrounded by those walls. So we think it'll be screened from any neighboring properties. The photos below help to illustrate that as well. Roughly, we've shown where they're located, and you can see it's set in some trees. So we're working around those existing trees as much as possible to get this put in. So, and we also see some cut here that we'll probably be using for some of the other projects on the site. So I think, so that kind of summarizes what it is, and thank you for your time, and we're available for questions and comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Let's see, it's about lawn. Elida.
Have you done some WELO calcs on this project?
We have not done the final numbers yet, but what we're working with is we have an existing lawn out there already. So we are reducing that overall size of the lawn by a good amount, and that is forthcoming, the WELO numbers, but we will be meeting WELO for sure.
Anything else, Elida?
No.
Claire, please.
I get that you're kind of tipping the lawn back up, so, but you talked about what is the wall material and how high are those walls that are going to hold the lawn up? Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that site wall, what is that material?
So we're looking to clad it in Santa Barbara stone, but we're still kind of working on kind of what that material is, and we'll, with future submittals, we'll come back with some more information on that. But that's kind of the initial concept, to really work with some of the other stone walls that are already present on the site.
Okay, well, yeah, so then my next question is, because you're talking about the 8 to 10 foot walls around the utility area.
Correct.
What is the material of those walls?
So those will be on the interior, it's a utility area. So I think we're working on that, but, I think we'll have to figure out what that finish is.
Probably plastic.
So right now you don't know what the finish of those walls are going to be, because they're going to be 8 to 10. There's going to, those are big walls, and
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in knowing what you're proposing for the material of those walls.
Yeah, if we could go to the section, maybe on that last page.
Page 7 has a better representation of the bunker area. There you go.
Yeah, so those walls will be, yeah, the majority of those walls are actually going to be cut in. So it's actually on 3 sides. We're going to be at grade with those walls. And we'll be working with the grading and the landform to really minimize the impact of those from the outside. But material-wise, we're looking to find something that will be appropriate to the house and what else is on the site. So that's forthcoming.
I'd like to remind everybody this is a concept review, so yes, please go ahead. Claire, anything else?
I understand that, John, but I don't have enough information from the proposal is to be able to make, okay, that's all. I just couldn't, because the presentation didn't tell me what I needed to know. Yeah,
So I think the question is, will you be able to provide us that information at the next meeting?
We will, and we're somewhat constrained by the historians in terms of materiality. So we will want to make sure to get that specified with them before we come back.
It's a historic building then.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I didn't get that. Okay, thank you.
Are you okay? Tip, please.
No questions. Thank you.
Dave, please.
Yes, is the size of the lawn being driven by the historical aspect of the property or your client, or what? Have you considered reducing the lawn area more, because it's a very large area?
Yeah, so we're working with the existing lawn and reducing off of the existing lawn. The historic side of it, there's always been a lawn present on the site of similar size. So yes, we're working on to reduce from what is there.
To be more specific, Dave, I don't think that the historians have identified a certain percentage or certain size that would be required for it to maintain its, compatibility. So there's no percentage or anything that we're constrained by the historian. So it could be reduced further depending on the client's wishes. And I don't think that's going to be a big historic issue as long as we keep the arrangement, shape, and the materials the same.
Okay, thanks. That was my question.
Okay, I thought I saw an FAR statement here. Is it in a different file? Brian, am I correct about that?
No, I don't believe we have an FAR calculator for the utility area, but we'll include that if that's necessary. I don't think Dan, it's not roofed, right? Is it open?
Yeah.
Well, but for the entire property. Okay, thank you. That's the end of my questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 7, 900 Knollwood Drive, please? Anybody?
Not seeing any hands, John.
Okay, comments. Elida, comments, please?
Well, it's 4 acres, right?
4 point something.
In the scheme of things, the lawn's not crazy, but the last Tuesday aside, I think it's just a personal irk of mine about this amount of lawn, but I'm learning there's not much I can do about it other than put it in a comment, and that's all.
Is that it?
That's it.
Claire, please. Claire?
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking as to what, well, okay, here's my thing. I think, yes, it's a great idea by the presenters, or their idea of having this, this law. But in my opinion, given now we've been in this long drought, well, all of that, and there's a whole lot of new rules and regulations. That's too much lawn for me. Yeah, well, that's my, I'm not willing to move I can go along, but for me, as a landscape person, because most of the issues that are being brought before us are both landscape issues, or at least for how I see it, and that's too much lawn. You haven't done the Wheelo caps, and I don't think you're going to pass Wheelo. That's the issue that I'm having with that size lawn. So before you come back, would you really figure out how much water that lawn is really going to use you know, and because I think the lawn's too big. So that, you know. Those are my, other than that, I don't see any problems with with the rest of the project. Yeah. That lawn is, whoa, yeah.
Tip.
Yeah, I was, I was thinking with the lawn. It's, well, obviously we have a lot of water now, but that doesn't mean what happen next couple of years. And it's always a concern for me, living here long enough, that I'm not sure, I can really support adding something like that to a private property. It just seems it's going against a lot of things that I believe in lately about how we can conserve water and make sure we last as long as we can. Thank you.
David.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in. For me to support the project, it definitely needs to meet the WELO requirements. And if it does, then there's not a lot we have to say about it. But I just think it's an unfortunate, this is an opportunity to be creative and come up with something that conserves water and our resources, which are important these days. And they weren't back when this was done as much. So I just think you could maintain the design intent, come up with a creative solution that reduces the lawn area more significantly, still provides an area for your client. I mean, right now that lawn area is larger than the house by quite a bit, and it just seems excessive to me. But again, if it meets the WELO, we can't say much about it. But as a designer, I would encourage you to go back to your client and talk about sustainability and really question if that's the right thing to do. Those are my comments.
Okay, I would hardly say that I know an excessive amount about WELO, but the bottom line is how much area is being irrigated. So they can manipulate this number by putting some irrigation lines on this 4 acres, have that be very low, and they could probably have twice or even 3 times the amount of lawn area. So that's, the WELO calcs in and of themselves are not particularly precise in the sense that they probably anticipate modest size suburbia more than they look at very generous parcels like this. So having said that, it really comes down to whether or not the owners have a deep understanding of where we are as a culture at this point in time. And I would encourage them to be thoughtful about the amount of lawn. I think that there are ways to do it where you get the very beautiful look out over down, I assume down to the ocean from here, across a beautifully landscaped area that doesn't use a lot of water, I assume. Now, if they play croquet or something, or polo or something, that's something different. But so anyway, Brian and Elizabeth and whomever else were here, if you could think about what I just said and maybe present some of those thoughts that the community is having to them, I would appreciate it.
Very much so, and those are very concise comments. We get it, 100%.
Okay, so we are on today for concept, no planner, no vote. I felt that this was a concept presentation and hardly got down and got dirty about something that was fairly precise. I would ask that you come back at preliminary, if everybody agrees with me, with a precise presentation about what you want, including WELO and other thoughts about that, so that we actually have something that we can evaluate more specifically, rather than sort of a general hand waving something. Do other people agree with me that this should come back for the preliminary level, please.
Well, not further preliminary, I think what you're saying, John, is that you're asking for it to come back for preliminary.
That's right. That,
Full
yeah, and see, oh yeah, full board, absolutely.
Well, I
Is it-
mean, I'm trying to say, understand where you're proposing, so, we're done with it with conceptual, and now we're moving it to preliminary.
I don't know what benefit we would have or the owners would have to do concept another round. I think.
Okay, that's fine, I was just asking the question, okay, and so preliminary is fine, if we want to move it to preliminary at the next hearing, and Brian is very clear of what it is we're looking for.
We won't be coming back with as much lawn at preliminary. That doesn't make sense. So we get it.
Okay, anything else? Other members agree with me? Okay, back for preliminary. Brian, Happy New Year. We'll see you whenever you get back.
Thank you all. Happy New Year.
Okay, item number 8. Apparently this was seen a couple of years ago and for some reason is back before us. And project received comments only. The project may return for preliminary and final, which it is now. Approval on consent. And David, a planner, chose to have this come to the full board because it had been so long. But I think we were generally speaking supportive of it back then. Somebody from Design Arc here, please.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm George Mansour,
Okay,
project
George.
designer.
I don't know that we need to kill this project. It's pretty straightforward, so if we can just rock and roll, please.
That works for me. So the illustration here on the first sheet shows the general scale of the project and the natural materials we're planning to use so that it could blend into its natural setting. And if we can scroll to sheet number 13.
Yeah, we're.
I think this helps your case too, just to
Yeah,
leverage
of course.
that.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, which sheet?
13.
13. I'll just show the site plan a little bit.
Oh, got it. That's good.
So if we could zoom into the pool area in the center. A little more if possible. So this generally shows that the structure is located to the east of 3 mature oaks. And we did secure arborist report with Duke McPherson showing that they would not be compromised based on the critical root zones and infiltration that we're planning around the structure.
And the elevations, please.
Yes, we can go to sheet 15. Sheet 15 is the work we needed to do to comply with flood control. And that just shows that the floor elevation, the finished floor was raised 2 feet above the pool deck, which allows us to comply with the base flood elevations for this site.
And there's a second set of drawings with the elevations on it, right?
Yes, we do have elevations, which we're going to get to. Okay. Is it not loading the rest of the sheet?
Yeah, it's not loading. Let me try something here. Huh. Let me take it in and open it in another program. There we go.
There we go. Okay, great. So the north elevation is the facade of the workshop structure, faces the pool. And it shows that we have the deck raised above the pool deck, which you can see in the lighter gray. There's a set of stairs on the north side. There's another set of stairs on the east side. And there's a sloped walk that snakes around the building on the north, on the west, and on the south, leading us up to the elevated deck overlooking the pool. We have roof overhangs, 4 feet on the front, 3 feet on the sides and on the back. On the south elevation, we plan on differentiating the materials by using a Santa Barbara sandstone clad for the chimney element. And on the west elevation, if we can zoom into the trellis, we're proposing to keep the main supports for the trellis rather thin by using tube steel painted with wood lumber 2x8s and 2x6 on the upper layers of the trellis. So that shows the intent of keeping the structure, the trellis pretty light and pretty thin. And on the last elevation below that, it really shows the use of a wood barn door to access the storage room for pool supplies. Okay.
Is that
And in
it?
terms of, well, if there's nothing else, we can move to questions.
Are members of the board okay with this, or would you like greater? I've looked at them. Any greater stuff? Greater
The finished
explanation?
materials, John?
Yeah, it's on this sheet on the right-hand side, I think,
Okay.
of this sheet. Right there.
Right there.
There's a little legend on the right. Yeah.
And so.
I'm good.
Okay, anybody else need anything more?
No, the question I was gonna ask is that what we're seeing right here, we see the materials, but that lighting fixture, which I assume is on the outside of this building, is that not compliant? Is that compliant? Yeah, okay.
And it is under eave also.
And where that's a hanging light, where do you have those shown, please?
Yes, on the east elevation, there's a tree graphic there that is not loading. I'm not sure why, but you can see the pendant from the branch.
So you have a total of 1 on the project?
Just 1, yeah. Okay. It's just to give some additional light along the walkway to the west of the building.
Okay, do you mind if I move this thing along, please? So, George, do you mind?
No, absolutely.
Okay, questions, Dave, please.
No questions, John.
Tip.
No questions.
Elida.
No questions.
Claire.
No questions.
And I have one question. Do you know the LRV on Chantilly lace? The color for the plaster, please.
I do not.
Does
It's something we can-
0.91 sound correct?
Sure. Okay.
The answer is yes, okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 8, 657 Oak Creek Road, please?
No one on this one, John.
Thank you very much. Comments, please. We are on for preliminary final for this. Dave?
I'm fine with the project, the scale, the location on the property, the FAR, they're all very acceptable. The design looks fine. I can support it.
Tip?
Yes, I second that, and I'm ready to make a motion for preliminary final. I submitted.
And the FL with the LRV to be brought down?
Yes.
To 0.84, George, that's the number. We're trying to keep it from getting too bright from these buildings. Is there anybody
understand.
else that needs to or would like to make comments, please?
No,
I will second Tip's motion with an LRB of 0.84. So we have a motion for approved preliminary and final as submitted, with the exception of bringing the plaster color down to an LRB of 0.84 or less. Any further discussion, please? All those in favor, please? Aye. All those opposed. Happy New Year, George. And
Thank
we will
you as well.
in a while. Okay, item number 9. This is a project down at the beach. Is Katie also with us, please?
Oh.
No? Katie? Okay, Clay, are you with us? Clay? Item
Yes,
number
Mr.
9.
Chair, I'm here. Clay Ralph, AB Design
Okay.
Studio.
Clay, before we start getting into the exact design, you went to the Planning Commission, right?
We have completed our CDP application and approval, and variance requests are all approved. Everything's been signed off.
At the Planning Commission.
That's correct.
And was there any comments or dissension or anything, or was everybody just, let's roll this thing out? Please.
Maybe Vincent from my office can answer that. My recollection was it was very quick and painless, and it went by without any concerns.
Okay, Vincent, are you there? Is that correct, please?
Vincent, you might have to hit *6 on your phone to unmute yourself.
Vincent, *6. Okay.
Let's see.
Okay, so
You
let
might
me
have
read.
messaged me separately. Go ahead. Sorry, John.
Is he, are we getting through or no?
We might have lost him, so.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Thank you. So Vincent, the question was, did the Planning Commission basically say everything is good, or was there some dissension, or what was going on there, please?
No, the comments were was around the variance requirements, but I think pulling up the minutes, if you guys want to dig into them more with Katie, I think would be appropriate, but I don't think she's on the call.
No, she's not. Okay, that's why
I
was
remember
asking.
it was a 5-0 vote approval. That was what I saw in the minutes.
That's correct.
Okay. So thank you very much, Clay. Let us go through this. It's on for preliminary and final. There were some minutes from us. Dave, you had them up a second ago.
You want to see him again?
Yeah, I'd like to read them into the record, please, if that's okay with everybody. Okay, majority of the board had favorable comments and believed that the project is compatible with the size, bulk, and scale of the surrounding neighborhood and other beachfront properties within Montecito. One member expressed concerns regarding the floor area overage and the potential for this project to set a precedence for further floor area ratio overages. Clay?
Chair, I have a question before Clay
Okay,
goes on.
please.
Do we have a planner memo since we're coming back for preliminary final? We should have a planner memo.
Let me look.
I thought there was a support letter, but I don't
No.
remember a planner memo.
Because on project like these, there should be a planner memo for final
Yes.
approval.
Absolutely, yes.
And so Kimberly, do you have a comment about that?
Hi, this is Nicole. Lou.
Nicole.
Sorry. Kimberly had to step out for a minute. And I looked to see if KT is around, but it looks like she's not available currently. I would think that if the project didn't indeed receive ideally we would have a planner memo, but I think that if the project did receive the approval at the hearing, that it should be fine for it to move forward. While you review the project, I'm happy to look into our computer system and just confirm the approval and look at the action letter if you'd like me to.
Yes, please do that.
Okay.
Thank you, Tip, for bringing that up. Clay, now back to you, please.
Mr. Chair and board members, good to see you all again virtually. We'll be pretty quick on this. I don't have a pretty long presentation. So the project has not fundamentally changed since the last time you saw it. If you recall, we went out there, did a site visit, had some neighbors concerned in the back. We resolved all of those issues. We have a letter of support from one of the neighbors in the file, which you'll look at public comment. So I'll just move through this pretty quickly. We can go to the next page. These are diagrams that the planning staff requested us to pull together. Next page, please. Again, more diagrams on max height versus height limits. String line diagram that we prepared for planning and approvals for CDP. Our improvements are behind the string line. Photographs, you can keep going. Most of you have seen this. Existing survey, we can keep going. Site plan showing improvements. So if you remember, we're doing a minor addition to an existing structure on top of the house, and then an added roof deck that you see in the two gray colors on the middle there. Next page, please. This is just a demo plan. Next page. Next page. Keep going. We'll get to the meat and potatoes here. Next page.
This is proposed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no changes on the first floor. Second floor, minor changes where we're removed that stair on the upper right corner of the floor plan that's in gray, adding some square footage and remodeling the laundry room a tad. Next page, please. Here's the line share of the work that we're doing, which is on the upper level. The white area is the existing structure. So the gray areas that you see on the floor plan are where we're adding square footage, and then we're adding the roof deck that you see to the south of it or down on the page. And we're reframing parts of the roof in that area to accommodate. We have an exterior light fixture you can see in the upper left-hand corner of the drawing here. Those will show up on our exterior elevations. It's dark sky compliant and shielded. Next page, please. Roof plan showing the changes to the roof. Next page, please. Here's elevations. So we have existing on the lower row and proposed on the upper row. So you can see the changes there. You don't see much of anything from the north elevation, which is the I guess semi-public area.
Parking lot.
A parking area for that housing area neighborhood. The beach elevation is the south elevation. So you can have the proposed below. You can see proposed above, number 2, and existing below, number 1. We're removing the 2 windows on the front and adding little balconies and some doors. And then up above, we have the enlarged studio space. You can see that again on the left side on the proposed number 4 and the existing below it. This is what we presented at the last hearing, so we haven't made any fundamental changes to the project since then. So next page, please. This is some of the 3D views that we have of the project. One comment was to add planters, so you can see proposed deck extension drawing number 1, lower right-hand side. We've added planters along the east and west side that would be permanent planters to provide screening just from some of the neighbors' concerns and visibility from, there's a neighbor that has a unit up above 2 houses over. And that's really it. That's our project in a nutshell.
And finish details, please. Yes, no?
We don't have a lot of detailing on this at the moment. Everything's going to really match what's existing on the property in terms of finishes, eave details, same roofing. So a lot of it's just going to match what's out on the house today. We haven't detailed all of it at this point.
Okay. And you are done. with your
Yes, sir.
presentation? Okay, very good. Questions? Tip?
The chair,
Yes.
this is Nicole.
Ah.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to let you know, I was able to find the action letter, and the commission voted 5-0 to approve the project with no modifications to the project or the conditions. So it's ready to move forward.
Excellent, just as reported. So thank you very much for taking that time. Questions? Tip?
No questions. Thank you.
Claire?
What was the final FAR of the project?
That would be on first page. I don't have it in my head.
That,
121.
121, okay, I just for, because I keep track of those things. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
David, please.
No questions, John.
Elida, please.
No questions.
And I have no questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 9, item number 9, 1536 Miramar Beach Drive, please?
No comments on this one.
Okay, excellent. There was one letter of support. For the sake of time, I will just, I support this project, okay?
Perfect.
And I belong to the homeowners association down here, and that's it, okay? We are on for preliminary final. It does not appear to me that we have anywhere near enough for final, but it does appear to me that we have a very complete application for preliminary. Comments, please. Tip.
No, I don't have any comments. I think it's ready for preliminary approval as submitted.
Okay.
I'd like to make a
Claire?
motion for that.
Well, hang on. Is there anybody else that wants to comment about that? He's ready for motion. Okay.
No, this has already received a lot of scrutiny.
Okay, I have had trouble with the overage and things like that. I will be voting against the project, but I am very clear that 4 out of 5 are going to vote for it. So, Tip, you made a motion. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion, please? And this is for preliminary only. Any further discussion, please? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Nay. So back, and I think final on consent. Yes?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
So Clay, consent does not mean easy. It means quick or quicker. So,
Understood. I know.
okay, full set, light fixtures, which you have, but all the details and everything.
Yep.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a good rest of your meeting.
Okay. Item number 10, our last item.
And John, I'll be stepping down.
Okay, so we have 4. Is there anybody else? Are you stepping down because you need to step down or because you have a conflict of time?
I have a conflict of time.
Okay, well, you have.
But you have
power,
quorum, right?
We
You
have
should have
quorum.
quorum.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have quorum. Okay. Thank you very much, Tip, and for helping Claire today. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
So see you in a couple of weeks. Okay, so item number 10, nice project, 168 Alaya Lane. Nice project, residential addition, well conceived, unifying roof overhang between main structure and pool cabana. Restudy layout of sandstone surrounding circular pond fountain. Restudy and refine architecture and fenestration of pool cabana. Return with details. So we are on again for preliminary final. William, are you here or somebody else, please?
Yes, I'm
John,
here.
these notes say return for preliminary approval. Is that incorrect?
Oh, it's only preliminary. That's what I was gonna say, John. It's agendized is for preliminary, not for preliminary final.
I stand corrected. You're on for preliminary. So
You almost made it.
yeah, well,
Thank you.
I have people looking over my shoulder and I love it. Okay, so William, you're on, please, for
Okay.
preliminary.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, you gave me a scare because we're not prepared for final. We're prepared for
Okay,
preliminary.
not a problem.
Anyway, so we're back to you, and I think in the interest, we addressed the items that you guys had concerns about before, and so we can kind of give you a quick report, but we addressed sort of paving and the design of the pool cabana structure, and the sort of consistency between the main house, which is one of the comments, the eaves on the main house and the pool house. So I think we'll get right into it.
David, can you start with the FAR, please? Just while we're there.
Okay.
Very good, thank you. William, floor is yours.
Okay. Melissa, do you want to talk about the address the comments on the structures? Then we'll have Dennis talk about the pathways and that.
Sure. Just to refresh everyone's memory, we presented this project back in October. This is an existing residence, and we're proposing to demolish the upper level and replace it with the new upper level. The existing lower level will be renovated, but it is to remain. If you could go to page 8 on this PDF. You can see this is the site plan. We are proposing to remove an existing ADU that is currently located towards the front of the property, and we're replacing it with a new pool cabana that's 779 square feet. And just to reiterate, this cabana was designed to relate to the historical gardens just to the north of it, which we are preserving and retaining. So if you go to page 18, there was some concerns about the design of the pool cabana, specifically the eaves. So we have redesigned the eaves. It has a slight overhang now with integrated gutter. Our downspouts will also be integrated, and it will be built out of limestone. If you go to page 20, you'll see that this is the main house. You'll see that the eave and the main house eave, they are similar in profile. The only difference is the main house is slightly taller. The pool cabana eave is 12 inches tall, the buildup of the eave, and the cabana is 12 inches tall, and the main house is 6 inches tall. And that was to better match the taller proportions of the main house. But other than that, they are the same design. We also reevaluated the pool cabana elevations. So if you go back to 18, we kept the arched doors because the existing house does have arched doors. We wanted a nod to that existing design. And we adjusted the openings to give them better balance and symmetry. If you go to the renderings PDF, it's a separate. You'll see we've updated the renderings with the eave design. You'll see our proposed materials above with the terracotta roof, limestone trim and eaves, wrought iron railings, stucco finish, and limestone hardscape, and steel doors and windows. And if you go to page 3, this is the pool cabana with terracotta roofing, limestone trim. We'll be retaining the existing Santa Barbara sandstone site walls, stucco wall cladding, and limestone hardscape with steel doors and windows. And then I will let Dennis, our landscape architect, just talk about the hardscape design and how we addressed your comments. If you could go to the landscape PDF.
Hi, yes, L 0.1 landscape. Right, so we have the existing circular fountain and the pathway around the fountain, and the pathway leading from the fountain to the stairs that go to the existing parking area above where the cars are shown, and the pathway from the house towards the pool. We previously had loose sandstone, almost like a flagstone pattern there. So we've revised it to have more of a mosaic stone, more reminiscent of like the existing brick that is there now. And the limestone, as you can see, changes to a limestone material at the house. So the pathways that join the terraces of the main entrance and the terraces at the rear are limestone material. And then we have pebble pathways from the guest pool house cabana ADU down the sides. These are all pebble paths that are for fire access as well. And from the existing carport to the north, we have pebble as well. And if you go to the next page down, L0.2, you can see the feel and the materials that we're looking at, with the mosaic pavers on the left. We have their existing sidewalls that will be retained, and the pebble pathways and the limestone paving. If we go to
that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you for your brevity. Okay, so questions. We're down to 4. Elida, please.
No, I remember visiting this. It was an incredible site. And no, I have no questions.
David, please.
No questions, John.
Claire?
None.
And I have a question, and thank you for being on this page. When I look at the renderings of this, it looks to me like the roof has more white plaster above these arched doors than this elevation here. Did you change one and not change the other? Or is something, an optical illusion going on here?
Believe so.
Right there. It looks to me like there's more white space.
I don't know if there is, like, because we have that drop on the cornice, but I think it's the same.
Okay, so that's all the questions. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the board on item number 10, 768 Alaya Lane, please?
No comment on this one.
Excellent, thank you. Comments, we are on for preliminary. Alida?
No comment.
Supportive?
Oh, definitely, yes.
David?
I missed the last meeting, so I'd like to hear the other members' comments just to be sure that I'm on track.
We need your vote, though, David.
No, I'm going to vote. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something.
Okay, Claire?
I don't have any comments other than to just say it for the landscape architect, I think, or whoever you are. You did a really good job of reducing the amount of lawn and be able to, which was, quite extensive at the time, and getting all of it realigned to the new world, because I know this is an old project, an old estate, and so thank you for the work you did with the landscape and the reducing of the lawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And other than that, I think this is ready to. I'll make a motion for preliminary approval when everybody's done.
Okay, David, your turn. Oh, and my comment is a nice project. I would encourage you to lift that roof up here to the height limit. I think it would be, leave everything, just lift the roof. I think it's going to feel more consistent with the Montecito / Santa Barbara architectural style. It's got more meat up there. but it's easily approvable either way. So David, you wanted to be last. You're last.
Yeah, I think it's a not very nice project. I just wanted to make sure that the scale of it when you went to the site was fine. And I actually picked up exactly on the same concern you had about the amount of plaster above these arches. And I totally agree with you. It would be much nicer to raise it, but I wouldn't deny the project either. But I think a little more plaster above these arches would make a big difference.
Okay. Claire, you have a motion for preliminary started in your mind. Would you like to complete that, please?
For preliminary approval with the comments that have been made and have it returned for final on consent.
Is there a second to that motion, please?
I'll second that.
Okay, excellent. Further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, all. I think I've wished you a happy new year, some of your team members, for the others, happy new year. Okay, we are up to.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We are up to adjournment. Is there anything that needs to be said before we get adjourned? Do I have a motion for adjournment, please?
So moved.
So Claire and Dave, all those in favor?
Aye.
David, thank you as always for an excellent job on the drawings.
Yeah.
And
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. I'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Claire, I hope you
Looking
get back
forward.
home.
Well, I just got a notice that Frontier is actually fixed my internet, so I actually could go home and read my, look at my computer, find out all these things that I haven't been able to get to. So
Good
I'm
for you.
very excited.
Claire, I sent you an email about the Biltmore sign. Please take a look at it.
Oh, great. Well, see, I haven't been able to look at any of that stuff, but now I can.